All right, hello, and welcome to another episode of InstantQast. I'm joined, as always, with my lovely co-host Judas Priestley. I myself is Nickel. Today we have a lot of things to talk about. Ravana obviously has been revealed. We've also seen a little bit of Hachiman, but I think we're gonna leave that mostly for next week. How you been this week, Judas?
I've been all good, Nickel. How are you been this week?
Some ups and downs. There was a concert where I live
Oh
yesterday,
yeah.
so that was cool. Took a part in that for a little bit. For the most part, though, I've just been gearing up because I'm a student. If people don't know, work on the side, and I've been just gearing up for the next school year. I'm doing marketing, and it's kind of
Nice.
it's my last year, so I'm trying to do my best, get ready, yeah, get that
That's
bachelor
okay,
going.
because you will not be stopping the podcast either. We'll be learning how to market the podcast specifically. That's why
Yeah,
you're doing the
yeah,
degree, right? To market
exactly,
the podcast.
exactly.
That's
I
that's the
need
purpose.
That's the only purpose. That was the only thing I was thinking about. Really, I even though we only started it this year, that was always the goal.
That
um,
was the long term build up.
yeah. We're streaming on Twitch as always. For those who don't know, twitch.tv/instantcast. I always like to mention that at the start of the podcast in case you want to catch us live, because we do a Q&A at the end of the show where you can send in questions. We also answer questions then live from the Twitch chat. If you post anything. We also got a question on the Reddit, so if you see this on Reddit, you can post there, or just in the comments below on the YouTube channel. So we're going to deal with a question later that we already got on the Reddit, but for now, I have a question for you, Judas.
Yep.
Your name,
Oh
Judas
yeah.
Priestley. Where did that come from? What is
Ooh.
Judas? Like, it sounds ominous because Judas was not a good guy according to, or he was at least the
In
guy that
some
betrayed
people's
Judas.
opinions,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, some people think he's pretty great, but for what he did. But where
Uh,
I think I've heard of something called Judas Priestley or someone called Judas Priestley in the past. Did you copy their name? What's the whole story behind that?
somewhat. So I remember the day. I remember the vision where this
Yeah.
name came to me. Right. I actually, I've maybe told the story a couple of times, so I do know this one.
Okay.
So, back in 2012 ish, maybe 2013. I was obviously a teenager, heavy into my heavy rock slash metal phase, crazy stuff,
Okay. Yeah. For those who don't know,
and
by
I
the way,
was
really really quick, the song playing at the beginning of every show, that is Judas playing drums. I want to shout you
yes,
out there.
yes.
That's pretty
That
sick.
is, yeah. See, all music in my blood, Nickel. It was always there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was big into so this heavy rock, sort of a lot of the like 70s metal and stuff at the time as well, and I was a big fan of the band Judas Priest. Now, it doesn't
Right.
just
Okay. Yeah.
come
That's where
from
I've
that,
heard it
but
from.
that
Okay. Yeah.
but that is that were they were absolutely my like totally favorite band and everything. I was so into them and everything. Still like them now, of course, but I've modernized. Sadly, do not just listen to 50-year-old music these days. Um, but yeah, so I was a big fan of Judas Priest, but also we were studying a book in school called An Inspector Calls, which is
And
sort
in
of like
what?
a play
Yeah.
slash book, sort of like how you study Shakespeare. This is sort of like a advancement of that. That was like the next
Okay.
stage. The book is written by an author called J.B. Priestley. And I remember
Okay.
seeing that on the book, and I said to my friend, "Oh, look, it's like Judas Priestley." Ha ha. The week after that, I had to make a Smite account, and
Okay. This
I had
is
to make a
so this
username.
happened. This happened
Oh
just
man.
as you were about
Yeah,
to
oh
enter
yeah.
into the Smite world, huh?
Oh yeah. I had to make my username, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't have a good username. I don't even remember what I used to use." So I was like, "Oh, I need to come up with something." I remember that I was actually with my friend on Smite who I'd shown the book to. I was like, "Oh, hey,
Right.
what if I called myself Judas Priestley?" And then it's just kind of stuck. A couple of years
Okay.
ago, I was discussing a rebrand to something else.
Yeah.
Obviously, I tend to just go by Judas. I was like, do I
Yeah.
just smush it down into Judas?
Yeah.
But then that's like kind of lame. I was very close to becoming just Judas, That almost came through.
As a full,
But that
like, add the just as well? Okay.
as yes, yeah, but that's almost like got worse religious connotations. Honestly, I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. I was like, oh no, you know what? It actually gets worse. So then, you know what? We're gonna leave it. Yeah, it's sort of something that a lot of people see it now, and it's quite recognizable to me. So you know what?
Yeah.
I quite like it.
I,
I'm happy with the name.
I think the length of your name is, in your favor as
Mm,
recognizable comes, because in most internet culture now is like keep it short, like 5 to 6 letters,
yeah.
and it's got to be like a bang name, like a one syllable kind of thing. But Judas Priestley, to me, obviously, I just started calling you Judas, and it didn't
Mm.
click to me until I said it when someone non-gaming related heard it, and they're like, Jude, like the Christian Judas. I'm like, no, no, wait, no, no, I'm not doing a podcast with Judas the betrayer. and so I just wanted to know, like, is there any part of this that was, Christian for you? But
uh, Obviously, you'd have to then go back to what the connotations of the original band name
yeah,
Judas
right, yeah.
Priest would do. I imagine there actually is something there. I couldn't tell you I've ever looked into it before making this my brand. I kind of fell into this. I
Mm.
didn't. I was like, all right, let me design my brand. It's going to be based around this name. Like, no, that was just my Smite name. And then I started casting, and I was like, oh, I needed a Discord name. I was like, oh, well, I can't come up with anything else. I just use the same name.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's fun. It's always fun to see people's names though, like and how they sort of came about. Because yeah, like for me, it's again, it's not designed, it's not crafted. It was just, oh, I'm what 16 or 15 probably at the time. I was like, haha, wouldn't this be funny?
Yeah.
There we go. Now I'm playing Smite. All of a sudden, hey, I'm doing casting. I've now moved on to other esports where I'm like being introduced. No, no lie, at a Minecraft children's event as Judas Priestley.
Okay,
It's
I
like
was about to. If you were about to say it as just Judas.
no. It's handy to have the extra name in that
Yeah.
case. It's like, but yeah, none of this was planned, right? I think again that's why I've sort of why I like the name as it is because it is natural. It is totally organic, right? Like, yeah, I know. Especially with the modern day with things like Twitch and everything
Yeah.
streaming being so huge, your internet brand is something that is very important to a lot of people. But I like
Right.
that I haven't curated mine. Maybe I should. Maybe one day I'll get like mega cancelled over this name.
I
I
doubt
don't
it
think so. I
at this
have
point.
worked with people who are also like that have heavily devout Christians and stuff, and no one's ever had mentioned a problem. I have asked. I have said like, "Oh, look, is this a problem?" They're like, "Look, you can't get offended by every little thing,
Well, you
right?"
can,
Like
you can, and
I
people
mean, when
have done that for
it's
the past few
content.
years. But yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
Uh,
me myself also have been part of like some cancelable offenses. Well, not I haven't done any, but my name can be
Wait a second.
associated. My name can be associated with
Oh
such.
yeah,
I remember like because my name pronounced nickel, but the Q's can for some people be seen as G's, and that doesn't sound good if you say it out loud. And there's been, I think, a push of actual racist people to exchange the Q to get around the censorship of
yeah,
many
yeah.
um text profanity filters, and I've had my name censored or banned in a lot of games. Like I've had this name
Yeah,
since 2012 or something. Like when I was a kid playing Minecraft. I stole the name actually from another player in Minecraft that had this exact name. I thought he was super cool. Then he was banned for cheating, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna claim that name and become the nice nickel. Um, but obviously with the I didn't know at the time because I was so young. So I didn't know the connotations it had. But
Mhm.
now, if I played a small stint as like a trying to become a semi-pro in a game called Brawlhalla, and I
Mhm.
can't have the name if when I because it's linked to Steam and my Steam name is Nickel, no problems there. But when I log into Brawlhalla, it just changes my name to Brawler
Ah,
and then a lot of numbers
okay, yeah.
because I think it's racist. And when Dolson casted me in Road to Vegas, the Twitch chat was going crazy, like, "Oh, you're trying to cancel Dolson with this name or something?" So yeah, I know where you're coming from. Um, Yeah, like I said, my name was just it wasn't natural at all. I stole it from someone, but now I've claimed it. I feel like it's kind of mine. I haven't seen any other nickels around in any on the internet at all, really.
One day he's gonna come back and
Yeah.
and 1v1 you,
Oh, dude,
or
he's gonna ruin
Minecraft
me.
1v1.
Well, on Minecraft, he might be cheating, so I might actually lose. All right. Well, did you have something you want to say before we jump into Ravana?
Yeah. I wanted to tell a little story about last night.
Okay. Yeah.
So this isn't like, all right, Judas in the club, and yeah, there's none of this. This is an evening in the life of Judas Priestley. Funnily enough, and actually been out playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
Classic, good time. Anyway, I've come home. It's like relatively late. We're talking like 10, 11 p.m. And I just want to wind down before I go to bed. And I'm boot up the PlayStation, the old PS5, and
The
on
old
that there is
PS5.
the old PS5.
Ah,
We're getting to the next gen soon.
yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I booted it up and I checked out there was a new slew of games on PlayStation Plus. If anyone doesn't know what that is, that's basically like Xbox Game Pass but for PlayStation.
Oh, do you get like free
And
games?
yeah, you get like a couple of free games every month, and there's some that you can like have for however long they are on available type thing.
Oh, cool.
So I'll have a look. There's a couple of new games, and I don't always just like, oh, I got to play all these new games, right? I sort of curate them, see if there's anything I'm interested in. One caught my eye by the name of Vampire Survivors,
Yeah.
which I'd never
Classic.
heard of before. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I actually had no idea. I'd sort of heard the name, but I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll look into this one. And I watched like a trailer for it to see what it is. And I'm a big fan of my roguelikes and everything, bullet hell type games. And I was like, oh, perfect. This is the type of game I want to play. And as it's going through the trailer, it sort of there's like a review popping up, I think, and it says it's like the problem with this game is you start playing it, and all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, that's a pretty good review for a game. I'll give it a try. So I install the game. Takes like 2 seconds to download. And I start playing it at, like I said, about 10, 11 p.m. Anyway, at 3 a.m., I thought, oh man, I should really turn this game off. But it was so cool to just be sort of sucked in to something that was so like fun and addicting. And yeah, I played it again this afternoon. I was like, oh man, I should keep playing this. And I was like, okay, I've got a podcast to do. Got to stop this stuff. But yeah, no, it's fun to get sort of to allow yourself to be sucked into a game like that. And yeah, I don't know, Nick, have you ever had that sort of game? You're like, oh, I'll just give this a try, and then boom, all of a sudden, 5 hours have gone by.
We had a mass psychosis, if you could call it that, where me and two other friends, we played a game called Unrailed. Have you heard of that game? It's like
No.
like a co-op kind of friend slop, but it was made before the friend slop era, I would say. So it's more like a couch co-op fun type of game, where the whole idea is you have to make a train go from A to B. There's difficult stuff in the road or on the path, and you have to lay the tracks down. So one person has to clear the road, the other person has to lay the tracks down, one person has to make sure the train doesn't catch on fire because the engine can overheat and stuff. So yeah, everyone has their own thing. We played that game, I think, for 13 hours straight. We started, like you said, at 11, and one of us we didn't check the clock because there's it's basically endless. You're trying to get as far as you can.
Yeah.
But there's different worlds. So we were like, oh, we got the snow world this time. Let's, push on to the next world. Whatever, next. And there's this roguelike, like in Vampire Survivors, where you can upgrade outside of the game as well. So you can make your chain go faster and stuff. And we checked the clock, like at 10, when we didn't check at 10, but I know we started around 10. And then when the next time we checked the clock, it was 9 the next day, on like 9 in the morning, and we're like, "What? How did we play this game for this long?" But we had just a blast. It was one of the most fun nights I've had of just casual gaming.
Yeah,
it's great when those kind of games just like get you going, and everything else in the world just like fades out, and you're completely locked in.
Right?
Yeah.
Enough about how good casual gaming is. Let's get to serious Smite time gaming. Here we
serious
go.
Smite gaming. Ravana. He's been shown. He's going to be released on Tuesday next week. It's currently Thursday. Tell me about Ravana. Have you seen the videos? Seen the Titan talk?
I have not seen the videos. I
Okay.
tend to wait for the god to be released, or just kind
Right.
of pick up whatever sort of comes through. I can't imagine there's too many changes with Ravan. It's one of those gods that he's what I would call. Does anyone remember Smite One, Jotun's Wrath, where it was
Mm.
just a stat stick? That's Ravan to me. Ravan is
Right.
one of these gods that is just impactful, but relatively simple, like simplistic, and just sort of does the Raven thing and not much else.
Right.
You'd think, based on how I've been talking about how I like Smite to be, you'd think I'd love this god. No, I hate this god. I've always hated this god, probably
Okay.
because they're just kind of a stat stick. But look, they're in the game. That's that. Some people are desperately waiting for this god. A lot of people have enjoyed them. I think a big thing for me, you can see if you can see on screen, the Mystic Rush animation change is so good.
That
Like
was
like
so
so,
good. Yeah.
I haven't even seen it, right? But the fact that it is changing is so important because that was Nicole. You might remember this, but for anyone who doesn't know, Raven actually released in Smite One as a warrior
Yeah.
with a very similar kit, like it had the Prana Onslaught, the had the overhead kick and stuff. It was all still there. I think even the three might have been the same. I'm not sure on that one, but I feel like it was the same.
Yeah. There's a little
Um,
differences here and there, I think,
yeah,
for the most
but
part.
he was generally the same thing, right? He just sort of beat people up, and then he had some sustain, and there we go. But his ultimate, what is now called Mystic Rush, it basically like marked a target, but you didn't leap to them. You just said, "Hey, this guy, I'm gonna beat him
Kill
up."
him. Yeah.
And I think it was like an element of the sort of 1v1 type ultimates we see in other
Right.
games, of where it's like, "Oh, this guy, I think they did less damage to everyone else."
Yeah.
Right? It's like, "Oh, me and you are gonna scrap." Everyone else could sort of be elsewhere, and people hated it. People hated this god. I'm not in like oh man, it's Nemesis launch all over again. It's just open. No, this god sucked. And they had a habit of this around this time. I don't know if you remember Nox release, which I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll talk about another time. But yeah, same sort of thing. Like everyone's just like, man, this god sucks. Um, and I remember the god being released. I don't remember him being reworked. I think that might have been while I wasn't actually playing. But yeah, I remember the god not really being too relevant. But then they sort of introduced this ultimate where it's the Mystic Rush, the big jump,
Yeah.
and they made him an assassin, and it just suited the god so much better. When you can just jump in, blow someone up, and get back out, it did the same sort of job. They sort of
Yeah.
realized that hey, the build that they were going for is almost like a fighting game type character, right? And we'll see that again later with the aspect, but the idea was that you wanted to be this true sort of 1v1 type of god where you use your strength, such as the prana assault, is it, or onslaught, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you use the attack with the one, that's it, prana onslaught, I can see it on screen. You use that to sort of slap people, beat them up. You use the root to catch people who might be trying to run away, the overhead kick to dodge their big shot. Like that was the whole point. It was meant to be like a fighting game where you use your strengths against your opponent's weaknesses, right? Cool concept, just didn't work out because Smite
Yeah.
doesn't play that way. You can't just have a 1v1 designed guard. Because even Aladdin, right, that's the sort of 1v1 ult we have in Smite now. And generally, if you get ulted by Aladdin, you're trying to stay alive until your team can come in
Yeah.
and make it sure
Yeah.
that's not a 1v1 anymore, right? So the 1v1 doesn't exist. So they've changed it to be this guy who is just a sort of single target burst assassin, right? And,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
works. I think definitely does what they wanted to do. The problem was in Smite 1, obviously, the Mystic Rush, the ultimate change was not like a hot fix, right? But they didn't want to redo animations and redo the god. It wasn't a rework fully. So it just sort of has like this sort of strange, like it almost looks like he's been sucked forward. I always found it's not like
Yeah.
he's
It was.
jumping. It's like he's lifted up and
Yeah.
like sort of sliding towards you. So it's nice to see that it's changed, right? I'm glad again. One of my worries for having a relatively fresh dev team looking at Smite 2 is that they wouldn't pay attention to the issues in Smite 1, right? They would miss things like that. But no, it's
Right.
perfect.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I hate this ultimate. Let's make it look good. It only had to look good. The ultimate itself was fine. But yeah, just having it improved like that, I think is really good. Did you see anything, Nicole, in the video that sort of were like,
Yes.
oh wow, I can't believe they did that?
I mean, obviously the alt looks so much nicer now. It gives you more impact. His actual animation when he jumps is a little cleaner, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
impact now that when he slams down, shakes your camera a little bit and
Nice.
gives like a big, small like little explosion or rippling effect when he lands. Um, I think With everything else, it looks pretty similar. Looks pretty much the exact same. Obviously, his +1 on his 3 is the only like big change or only
Yeah.
change he actually got in a gameplay aspect. And uh, I don't know how I feel about this change because this change is moving him more back into a laning type of character.
Yeah.
And Ravana, for me, Ravana was this assassin in the jungle after he was moved over to an assassin. He was this jungler where most jungler are either I want to get in and stick to a target for a period of time, and then get some buffs of that. I'm thinking Kali, I'm thinking Nemesis, these kind of characters.
Yeah.
And then you have other characters like I want to get in, do my damage, and then get out. Thinking Susano, I'm thinking Thanatos to some extent, Loki
Yeah.
even. Ravana to me is somewhere in between, where he doesn't have the disengage to actually get out. So he's more like his overhead kick, which is one of the most broken abilities by itself, I think, in Smite. It's because it's like Changa's too, with way more utility. Well, not utility, but it does damage, which is the main point, and that is
And the
that
fact
just
there's a Ravana attached to it.
yeah, there's a Robin attached to it, right? It's not this like super squishy target that could just immediately die afterwards.
Yeah.
So to me, it's more you wanna get in there, you wanna stay in there because you wanna build this combo, but you don't wanna you can't really stick to a target that well. You just have to be in the fight, hit whatever's in front of you. Like if you try
Yeah.
to if you're a Raven and you try to stick to an on her, he can just jump away and you're fucked. Like any Nemesis can always dash after. Raven can't do it. If he hits the slow on an on her, he will just jump away. If he hits the root, he'll just jump away. So your playstyle was hope that they don't have the jump, wait until they don't have your jump. And in Smite 1, you were very reliant on blink as your engage or your ult to have this like in and out.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this with the 3 change because for those who haven't read or are listening, the 3 now goes through the god hit. It always went through minions and did damage, but it only healed off of the first 3 minions you hit. Now it
Yeah.
goes through. So what you could do in the solo lane to counter kind of what Robin wants to do, which is scrap with you and then heal off the wave. What you could do as the enemy is just stand in front of the wave, and he can't 3 through the wave and get that heal. It kind of blocks what he gets to do. Now he can 3 through a god. It doesn't root anyone else it hits. So if it hits multiple gods, it only roots the first one. But you still get the heal of the first 3 minions as well as the god. So you get the heal of the god and then of the 3 minions, and that makes him more viable in solo. And I'm surprised that they did this because I thought the whole
Yeah.
point was, hey, we misjudged this character. He's not really a laner, so we're just gonna move him to jungle and he'll be this like assassin brawler. He's more of a you kind of want him to build a little bruiser type to be able to be in the fight for a longer time. The combo system of his one, you want to kind of proc that multiple times during a fight
Yeah.
versus someone like a Loki that wants to just kit dump and then get out and wait for his cooldowns. Raven wants to stay in the fight he doesn't want to, but he kind of has to stay in the fight while waiting for his cooldowns to get off. That's my kind of view on it. I think they're trying to move him to be able to play in solo as well, but I still see him as mainly a jungler.
It's a weird one, right? Because initially for Raven players, you might go, "Oh, that's great. I hated when that happened." And like, yes, I'm sure you would hate when that happens, right? But as we've discussed a few times, having that counterplay to the god was important, right? That gave him the ability to be stronger elsewhere.
Right.
You couldn't really rely on the 10-hand Shadow Fist to actually clear the wave reliably because of the fact it could be blocked. Whereas now, I feel like you're just going to kind of max the 3 most likely, similar to how you'd play like a Sobek in lane,
Right.
and that kind of reduces his sort of. The thing about this god is he was not all in, not entirely all in, but he was very aggressive, right? Even if you were playing him in solo lane, you kind of wanted to be the one beating up the other solo laner. This, it does let him do that if you want, but it doesn't make sense to do that now, right? I feel like it makes more sense to sort of typically line clear the wave and then just sort of do things elsewhere. I don't know. Maybe they found he was particularly underpowered in solo lane without it.
Hmm.
Like maybe nowadays gods can sort of take that in a way they wouldn't before. So I don't know. Obviously, we were not privy to the sort of testing that led to this choice.
Right.
But it feels like, again, typical criticism of Smite 2 is that it sort of removes some of the skill expression, and this does do that for both players, right? Because why
Yeah.
would you ever try to stand in the wave now? No, you could
Right.
just going to stand by the side of it, and I don't know. It's a strange change. I think. Obviously, I didn't see the Titan talk, so I don't know if they addressed this directly. But I'd almost like to know the thought process. If that does exist, I might have to look into it.
They didn't say much then that they wanted to give him an option to also play solo. That was kind of
And I'd fine, but like he did have that option before this
yeah,
change, and
you always have the option.
again, we've seen it. We've seen this type of ability elsewhere. But like, imagine if they start making this change for everything, right? Like, do you really want like a Muzen Carb ult to go through people? There are
Yeah.
things that have been blocked in the past for good reason, and it's just kind of strange to have this. I don't know. It's good that they are considering the versatility of him being played in solo lane. Does make you question the aspect. If the aspect is meant to be solo, why would they make the change to the base guard?
Yeah.
Unless they only initially put it on the aspect and I thought, you know what, it makes more sense if it's on both.
Yeah.
But already the aspect has an enhanced version of that, which we'll get to in a moment as well. So I don't know. I think it's I think it's an okay change. I think in 2 months' time we'll probably have completely forgotten that this change even happened. Right? It'll just be oh yeah, Raven just does that and fine. But for we do always have the concern of new players, but this to me is a concern of the returning player who's like, it's Raven. I know what I do against Raven solo. I stand in the way,
Right.
so you can't root the whole wave, and then it actually is clear the whole wave behind you, and now you're dead by the way because you took a bunch of damage for no reason.
Yeah, because what you used to do on Raven was hit the enemy with your basic attacks, group the wave together, and then you can one it. But then you have to use your main damage ability to clear the wave. And so you didn't have that left, and you obviously took the damage of having the whole wave, tanking the whole wave. Now there's no risk doing that.
Yeah, which again, fine, but I don't know. I think it maybe like it mixed up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him back. I think I liked him. He was the most annoying character to play against when he was ever ahead, because you could never lock him down. For those who don't know, the 2 doesn't just CC immune you and damage immune you, it also cleanses. So if you're currently CC'd by any non-hard CC, or anything that stops you from using abilities, so silence or stun, or knockup, other than that, you can just chew yourself out. Cleanse, roots, flows, whatever, and it's so annoying to play against, because you finally got him, He's jumped in. He didn't see that we were 3 people like waiting around the corner. He jumps in on one of the backliners and he's fucked. We've rooted him. No, he just twos your Scylla ult. He twos the whole combo you guys have made together, and just immunes the Geb blink ult. Like, we just wasted our whole kit or every combo we had, and all he had to do was press one button. And as we will get to, the aspect just increases this frustration point for even more. Why don't we go to the aspect?
Yeah, so this aspect had been teased, right? The whole EX move thing. Okay, I'll quickly explain for anyone who doesn't know. Fighting games, you typically have something called EX moves, which are, you have your special moves, like let's say you throw a fireball, and you have the option to use a special meter, which is generally built up by hitting people or just doing special moves. And then you invest that special meter into empowering your abilities. Now, I thought, great, it's really cool that they are adding this to Raven, because he is meant to be a sort of homage to fighting games, right? That was the whole point. And EX moves is just another little detail that only really exists in fighting games. So it's very cool that they've chosen to do this. However, Nickel, I'm not sure I like how it's been put in. Now, hold on, put the torches down. Torches down. I say I'm not sure, because I've picked something up. We'll go through the aspect in full in a moment, but I've picked something up off of this that I'm not sure of and how it's going to work. Just a quick question on this, Nickel. the buffs that you gain from using these enhanced moves, do you know if they're permanent or are they
Uh,
temporary for
I think
10 seconds or
they're
so?
they're temporary.
Temporary, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, they're definitely temporary.
Needed to know that one for my not complaint, my discussion topic. Anyway, just a quick run through. So the combo, which is the passive for Raven, typically caps at I believe either 10 or 12. I think it might be 10. Um, that now goes all the way up to 999. So the way that this would work is whenever you hit something, you gain one stack. Presumably, you also get this off of ability hits as well.
Yeah, in when you don't use your ult, every ability gives a combo
Yeah, cool.
per thing you hit. So like if you won 3 minions, you get 3
Yeah.
combo stacks.
So these combo stacks now stack all the way up to 999, which is basically infinite. I think this is one of those things that I believe you actually could stack this to 999, right? Like I think this is
And you definitely can.
definitely
It's just
doable.
the only issue is that you can never use your ult,
Yeah,
but that is it's gonna be a real waste to not use your ult at like
yeah.
600 stacks or whatever. Even getting there is pretty hard. On Titan Talk, they said the highest they got to in testing in a real game where they played them normally, it was 200.
Yeah. And that sounds about right. It's like one of those you could stack it to this, but you won't, so it's effectively infinite. But yeah, so they'll stack all the way up, and then you consume all of that combo at once with a enhanced ability. So you do not have the Mystic Rush anymore. You just have it basically an activator similar to Tiamat Ultimate, if anyone remembers that, where I don't think you'll have a form or like a stance,
No,
but I think it'll basically be like a hey, I'm going to do my EX thing now.
if you watch Dragon Ball
Uh,
Z, it looks like he Super Saiyan's up. Is pretty much it. Like
nice.
it's like a glowing purple flame around him.
That's a cool effect. So yeah, his next ability that he then uses will use all of his combo, and if you have at least 50 combo, it will give you a buff based on how much combo was consumed. So the first ability, that Prana Onslaught, it fires 4 additional hits, which I'm guessing is sort of like a boom, 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 boom. Like it's got to be quick, right?
Yeah, it's very quick. It's like you hit the first one hits, which is
Yep.
obviously the Ravana does the animation where he does like the push forward kind of thing. But then it goes dun 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 dun, like that.
Cool. Yeah.
While it goes dun 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 dun, the extra 4 hits, Ravana goes back to being able to use abilities and basic attack. So
Nice.
it's much like when Aladdin does his genie smash on the ground thing. While something is happening in front of Ravana, he can basic attack and use other abilities and such. So you're not locked into a long animation just because you're doing this.
Cool. And if you do use that, you will gain strength per combo, which presumably, again, this sort of comes through, I'd imagine, after the first hit, but before the 4 additional hits. So they should hit quite hard. Again, if you have that 50 combo. Again, that just seems like a pretty good ability. Like, oh, I need to blow someone up. Boom, boom. Like you said, boom, 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 boom. And hopefully someone is dead. That's your kind of finishing someone off. The overhead kick, it sends 3 shockwaves forward in quick succession. Each dealing damage to all enemies in a line, and at 50 plus combo, gain plating and dampening per combo consumed. This is a weird one to me. Um, I'm not sure about why the shockwaves are necessary. I know it's a damaging ability, but obviously, if you are doing this, it's because you are in danger and you need the plating and dampening. So I don't know what the shockwaves are really for. Is there any kind of CC attached to that, or is it
No,
just
no. The shockwaves is just his what he kicks.
just the
In
kick out?
normal the
Okay, yeah,
kick, so the line shot basically when he
yeah,
kicks. Now it's way faster, so it's like two, two, two instead
yeah,
of two. Like
yeah,
his normal one.
yeah,
I think overall it lasts longer. The triple kick, it lasts for a longer amount of time, and but the actual kicks are faster animated, and the shots come out faster.
yeah, yeah. And again, it sounds pretty cool. I'd be surprised if this one gets used much. Not that it won't get used, right? Because you only have 3 abilities basically. I think this would come in sometimes, but if you're in a situation where you have the danger of, oh, I need to use my overhead kick to get out of this, but also I have time to press the combo button first and then use it. I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll probably see that at a quite high level, honestly. Like at a really cool. Oh, that was a perfect usage of it. In general, I think I could see people going through the whole game without using this EX move, and that's kind of fine. You wouldn't. Would you use it if you're tanking Fire Giant? Maybe. Would you be better off just hitting the Prana Onslaught instead? Like probably. But again, it sort of depends on how you built this. And then, of course, we have the 10-hand Shadow Fist, the 3, the projectile one, where it says that it returns after reaching max distance, resetting the target limits for the root, and heals on the way back. At 50 plus combo, you gain lifesteal per combo consumed. Again, a bit of a strange one. The projectile returning and resetting the target limits,
Yeah.
that's still 1 on the root, right? So it's possibly going to root the same target twice. I imagine that would work. Or
So
you could potentially root 2
yeah,
targets.
you could either root the same target twice, which obviously
Yep.
with DR makes the root less valuable, but you still root them for a longer total period.
Yeah.
Or you can root one person on the way in and then someone else on the way back. So if someone else stands in between, or if they're in a line. Yeah.
But
Other
then
than
it
that, it's-
gives lifesteal
Yeah.
after that. And that's really strange. Because if you are utilizing that one, right, it's because you've got something you want to set up, presumably. I don't believe you. If you were the jungler, right, because you could use this in jungle. It would probably be worse, but you could. But if you were the one who, let's say jungle or even solo, and you're the guy who wants to be aggressive here, you want to be damaging people, you would be better off using the Prana Onslaught version where it's doing extra damage. If you get the root, great, but then like if you're life stealing, presumably that's because you're low health. If you're low health, surely you'd rather have used the overhead kick version, right? And been thinking about more safety minded. I just don't get the sort of joining of that. Is it because the lifesteal is kind of whatever? So that kind of means you just kind of want to use the 10-hand Shadow Fist frequently. Like maybe this would be a wave clear, right? Like you could sort of just, you could have 0 combo, but then EX move 10-hand Shadow Fist. Maybe that's what they want here, and that's sort of what it's used for rather than the combo. And then it's focused mainly on blowing people up with the Prana Onslaught at the end. I guess, I guess that's what's happening here. It's just a bit of a strange one. And I have one more after that. But what do you think, Nickel? Do you like? I think it's interesting, but I'm not sure I love it here.
So a bit of clarification first. One, the ultimate has a 45-second cooldown.
Cool.
So with cooldowns, you're probably going to get that down to like 25 to maybe 30-second cooldown. So you can definitely use these extra abilities a lot more than you would any other ultimate. But it's still like you can't combo them off of each other. And not using any of these abilities enhanced does not use the cooldown of your normal abilities. You could always, enhance 3 into normal 3. And if you have a lot of cooldown, you can use your normal 1, enhance 1, normal 1. And that's a big combo. And that's the main combo I think is going to be used. What I think with the overhead kick enhanced version is you would want this if you had put yourself in a bad position, or if you ulted into a large amount of people and you're expecting them to now turn on you, you could use your super 2 into your normal 2 to either get out or stay in the fight for a longer time.
But you also can't ult into people.
Right, sorry, not ult. That would be like getting into whatever... getting into a situation where you would want to ult into normal 2. I think the buffs you're getting does a lot here. So it all depends on how much you can actually stack up for me at a reasonable pace. Because if we can get to 200 without, not participate, like if you just have to wait until level like minute 20 and you're just stacking up, not participating in the game or any team fight, and then you walk in with like 600 stacks, and no matter which one you use, I guess other than the lifesteal one. So if you use your 1 or 2, you're gonna have such a big increase of stats that you'll either be unkillable or one-shot someone. So I'm surprised as I'm not surprised. I'm wondering how this will actually be used in practice. Is it gonna be more of a let's build him like I guess that's the 2 different paths you can go. Build him bruiser. try to stay in the fight, or build him super tank and even then just stay in the fight. Which I feel building him full tank with aspect is waste of his potential.
Yeah, for sure.
Or just go full damage and look to get that one shot off. With the you 3 someone normally, and then you get your super one at like 600 combo stacks, if that's even possible. With normal gameplay.
See, that's exactly what I was thinking. This is the one where I'm like, I don't know if this is genius or stupid. So I could definitely see a world where even in a competitive setting, you sort of pick this Raven aspect, stick it in solo lane with a sort of heavily, heavy focus team on the rest of the map, right? Where you kind of don't care about solo lane, you don't need to win through it, but you're going to have everything else sort of going smoothly. And then you bank up this combo till, like you said, this sort of 600 plus mark, which I think could be reasonable. Let's say we're talking 35 minutes here. So I'm talking have this Raven in the sort of back pocket for just one big fight at the end.
Yeah.
Where, again, if you blink onto someone, activate the EX, and then the Prana Onslaught, right? Let's say, again, 600 stacks. It's a shame that in this graphic we can't see exactly what the numbers will be. For example, the gain strength per combo. Is it 1 strength per combo? So 600
I think so.
strength?
I think so. So it was either 0.5 of whatever. I think that's what they said. They don't have the numbers yet. That's why we don't have the numbers yet. They're not going to release them until Friday. So tomorrow for us, maybe today if you're listening to this on Friday. So we won't actually know all the numbers. Same goes for the items we're about to discuss.
That makes sense. Yeah, I did think that. Anyway, let's say it is even 300 strength, right? So you got 600 combo because you haven't used your ultimate the entire time. You've let your enemy soul laner get way ahead. If you 600 strength, 600 combo this, blink onto the back line, activate your Prana Onslaught, and hit someone with that boom, 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 boom. That's surely going to kill anyone who doesn't have Aegis, right?
Yeah.
But then you also have, even if that doesn't, let's say you only kill one backliner with that, you'll then have a HP shield, a max HP shield, which even if you built no HP, right? If you've built damage to facilitate this sort of idea, it should still be massive, right? Or at least strong enough. It's either a huge health shield and you're just unkillable, or it's not that huge a health shield, but it's enough that should make you be able to do whatever you want to do here if you're like full damage. So then you can sort of take out both backliners potentially with this. And then your team can just kind of win off of that. Like you can just win off of one fight.
Yep.
So but I don't know. Is that a maniac way of playing? Is that just like, or if you have a good team, right? Let's say we look back through SPL over the years, like some of the teams that have had like some dominance, right? You think Camelot Kings when they were just sort of beating everybody. If they're sticking their solo laner with this Raven pick and then dominating the rest of the map because you can do that, is that just game over? Is it just like, man, you cannot beat that? Like, I'd be concerned if the numbers are too good for that, but that would also be kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid that this will be like you said, it's even like in pro play it might be insanely strong because both teams will know how to play against it. So the one team that doesn't have the Ravana knows that okay, we can't let them get to 35 minutes. We got to end the game before 35 minutes. So they have a clear goal in mind, and the other team we have to delay the game until our Ravana has 900 stacks, so that we can guarantee win any team fight. What I'm afraid of is in every other game, in the casual and the ranked scene, it's just going to be like, hey, we have a useless character on our team until they might not even be good enough to use their combo at the end of the game on the target they need to. Or what if you stack up 900 stacks, okay? This is your rank up to deity or whatever. You get in the backline, you blink in, you bam! Blow your combo, and they press his Aegis, and then you're just, oh, that was my whole game, like I did all this waiting, all this stacking, and then my game is just over because someone pressed Aegis. So I feel like it needs to be the stacking of the combo needs to be easy enough so that you will always have value, but then the buffs can't be good as good as it looks like they are now. from the numbers and things we know. Like we said, we don't have the numbers yet. They might change the numbers from what they said in the Titan Talk. But the theory now is it's going to be 0.5 of whatever, if it is strength, lifesteal, or plating/dampening. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. I think this is going to be one of those, like the Coquelin aspect, where as soon as he's human, he's not a character, and it feels horrible to play, and it feels horrible to the people playing against, or the people playing with him on the team, because it's such a detriment to his everything else. Like, because his normal playstyle isn't good enough. His normal kit, I mean, isn't good enough to just, be there.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, I was thinking the overhead kick might not be so useful. Now I'm thinking, if you've got to survive in lane, like, it being a jungler might just be, all right, jump on this guy, get him to burn his combo, right? Like, and force him to have to use that to get out. Like if he stepped up even just over halfway, that overhead kick's not going to get you out. The enhanced one might. You almost have to force them to make the choice. Like, all right, you either burn all of your combo or you die in this moment, right? And you might be 10 minutes into the game, like, wow, I've had no pressure here. I'm doing okay. I'm just gonna stack up. I've got like 200 combo already, and maybe I'll think about saving this till later. And then all of a sudden, the jungler starts showing up every 2 minutes. What do you do? Are you gonna burn all your combo? I think it's a shame the combo is burned in its entirety.
Yeah, that's.
I think I prefer this aspect if it just used 50 combo to get the buff every time.
And that was max.
And that was it, yeah. So you could potentially, like, maybe refund your ultimate with combo, right? You spend an extra 50 or even 100, and boom, you could use it again. Like, I think I'd prefer it to be more active than the way it is, because, like I said, the best way I could see this aspect working is it just had like one 30-second patch where it's incredible. The general gameplay of it, I feel like you just want non-aspect Ravana. Again, if he doesn't have that jump, you can isolate them. They can't step up as a regular soul laner because they step that little bit too far forward, and they get Athena taunted. They get like, or even if Athena dashes on you, I don't want to get taunted. I need to overhead kick. All right, you've done it. Now you get taunted. It's like, and then you're just dead. It's like there's so much that could go wrong for this aspect. Again, I just feel like it could have been done in a more active way. And then I'd see it's quite a good jungler aspect, right? Like, you could sort of build up a bit of combo, show up to lanes, and with this empowered aura,
and then blow your load abilities, and go back to.
And then go, oh, okay, I need to go farm up for a bit. I could definitely see that type of jungler aspect working, but I don't know. I think this is meant to be more of a solo laner, but an aggressive solo laner who now has to be absolutely careful. Again, I'd rather you just have regular Ravana. like you sort of, if you just have regular Ravana, you can blink on someone, blink, 10-hand Shadow Fist, they backflip, you overhead kick because you get the speed boost toward them, you Prana Onslaught, they're getting low, okay, the team's coming in to back them up, I'm ulting away, I'm getting out. Or they're about to die, cool, Mystic Rush to finish them off. It's like you have the choices to be made, whereas you're so all in or all out if you're on this aspect, right? It's I think I'd like to see it. I like these ideas. I hate to criticize it because I think it's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's totally the right way to go about this aspect. I just think it's done slightly wrong. It's just slightly off for it to feel... again, it might be really cool, but if it's cool, that means it's good. And if it's good, it's going to get nerfed. And if it gets nerfed...
Why play
What was the point? Yeah.
Well, with these aspects, I feel like we're seeing more and more now. Other than the Ishal aspect, to me, was a really good aspect. Right now, it's not viable to play, but the idea of it, I like. My issue with these aspects is it's either this aspect is so good that we're not changing enough of the play style, like we're not changing the archetype of the character, so it's either this aspect is so much better than his normal kit that no one will ever play his normal kit, but this aspect is so much worse that why would you ever pick it? What I want for these aspects is either change their archetype completely, so a tank goes from a tank to something else, or a backline tank becomes a frontline tank, or an ADC becomes a mage becomes an assassin, something like this. Or like, because it has to change the play style so that it's either a niche pick against something else. Like, for example, you become let's say Merlin goes from a mage to like an anti-heal type of mage. So
Yeah.
right now he just does a lot of damage. What if every single tick of all the things he does decreases your healing, so that you know, okay, if I want to, I locked in Merlin, I want to play him normally, and then suddenly they pick Afro Sylvanas, and you're like, okay, I'll swap to the aspect now.
Anti-heal.
Before the
Yeah.
game starts. Like that's the kind of thing I'm looking for with these aspects. Not just hey,
Yeah.
on her, or on her with more basic attacks, less penetration. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder what I'll pick today. It's just gonna
Yeah.
be whatever's the best. I'm never gonna, in one game pick this and the other game pick this, and that just makes it.
That's
so...
just it. Yeah, I found out I actually had this conversation this week where we were trying to think of aspects, right, that sort of fit this sort of good aspect situation. I did come up with a couple. I think Anher aspect has potential to just be like a reaction to the team, right? I almost think you should be able to pick it later, like almost wait until you get into game and then select like, okay, I think I want this aspect today. But
Right,
like
you can wait until you see what everyone has picked.
true, but you might not know who you're against. For example, like you might see the lineup and then it's actually
Yeah.
actually Aphrodite mid, not support, etc. But yeah, I think it probably is correct that it is picked in lobby right now. But like I could see Anher where it's like, okay, I need shred, I'm gonna go for penetration type Anher, or oh look, they're not actually that tanky naturally, I'm gonna go for the more attack speed based one. I could see that. But another good example I think is probably Kurnanos aspect. Now I actually really hate playing against Kurnanos jungle, but it's entirely different. You could not play Kurnanos aspect ADC. You could absolutely play it in jungle.
Right.
Then you start really struggling to find more that sort of fit this niche of, you sometimes want it and sometimes don't, but you could still pick either way. And that's not a question of numbers, right? The Kurnanos aspect in particular, it's not just a case of, oh well, if Kurnanos jungle is good, then you pick it, or if it's bad, then you don't pick it. No, you could still play it, and make it good, right? You can make these things work.
My two favorites of this. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
My two favorites of this is Neath and Soul. They both have their mage version and their ADC version.
Yep.
To me, that it's just that's the perfect one.
Exactly as it should be, right? And we still got some cool ones. I think the Geb one was pretty cool for a while as well, where it's like, okay, here's the ADC version, here's the non ADC version, but they kind of just couldn't get the balance right on it. It's still in the game. I don't remember the last time I've seen it, but you just couldn't seem to play it without it being like cheese. And
it doesn't even have to be viable to me. Like the Merlin aspect, I think it's just a fun aspect, and that's like, hey, let's bring some randomness in, get some craziness out there. Completely fine. That's just a fun thing. It's not going to be played in competitive, but if I play an assault game and I get Merlin, I might just pick the aspect because that's a fun way to play. But we're like most of these aspects that have been coming out with lately has neither been fun nor good. So.
Yeah. Like the Jing Chan aspect, I have not seen it. It has been 5 weeks since that came out. I've not seen it once. I haven't even tried it. I've played Jing Chan like a bunch. I have not even clicked the button. I remember I locked him the other day. I went, oh wait, here's an aspect. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about it entirely. Sylvanas has an aspect. I didn't even know. like it's so forgettable when they're, and it like you said, they're not fun and they're not good. Why? Why do they exist?
I think it's very telling now that we are, for the first time ever in Smite 2, we're seeing Guardians, or like the Guardian archetype in mid with this Echo build. And we're still not seeing the aspects of these Guardians. Like, the only one you could maybe see is the Khepri one, but that's because everyone plays the Khepri aspect anyway.
Khepri aspect has been Khepri since it came out.
It's just better in every way. But you still see Sylvanas, normal Sylvanas. You don't see the aspect Sylvanas. Why, even now, when we're seeing tanks in mid with the Echo build, you're still not seeing the aspect. And then just like, why... If the builds can change how you play these characters so much, why couldn't we just have an aspect that changed the character that much to begin with?
Absolutely. Hey, it's almost like someone's been saying that on the podcast about how items shouldn't be the defining thing. It should be the god that you pick, man.
True. But speaking of the podcast and Hi-Res possibly listening in, I think they have been listening to this because we've been raving. I've been raving, at least. I've been slamming this drum ever since we started the podcast that I wanted Enchanters to be a certain way, and I wanted Enchanters in Smite 2, and I want Enchanters to be healing and not damaging and not being tanky. And they are doing it. They're finally doing it. On Titan Talk, they talked about the new balance update, and they're doing it. They're First of all, we got anti-heal is becoming way stronger now, going from 25% to 40%, like we had in Smite 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wanna hate on high res. I mean, I do. That's what we do for the most part. But I don't want to do it too like undeservedly. But I just want to point out that they have said multiple times that they don't want to increase the anti-heal to 40% because they don't want it to go back to how Smite 1 had it. Well, they've now increased it to 40% and it's now going back to how Smite 1 had it.
Oh, yeah.
They're not stacking anymore, so we can't have Divine Ruin and Stygian Anchor stack, or like Brawler's Beat Stick, and we had Pestilence in Smite 1 that could stack, but no, that can't stack, so it's still 40% is the max you can get off of abilities. No, sorry, items.
So even if you had so if you had an ability that does 40% and an item that does 40%, is that now 80%?
I don't think so. That's what I got the sense of. I might be wrong on that. I know for a fact the items can't affect each other's anti-heal. Pretty sure anti-heal is just now a universal stat that caps at 40%. No matter
you
where
are being
the source
anti-healed.
is. Yeah. That's how I understood it from Hi-Res when they talked about this during the Titan Talk. But I might be wrong. It might be that abilities can still stack on top of this. Obviously, you have the 100% anti-heal abilities like the Osiris Ult and Odin Ults. And maybe even... No, you know what? I think... So healing reduction abilities like Sobek 3... Oh, there's actually listed here now that I look at it. Like Aparcia, Ares 3, RTO 1. These kind of things, I think they can't stack on top of the 40% you already have.
It's just your anti-heal trigger, 40% anti-heal.
But all of the healing reduction abilities have also been increased to 40% because they were already 25%, and now everything that ever does anti-heal does 40%. So you never have to do any calculations. 40% is whatever the max you can anti-heal, but it's also whatever ability and or item you have does. 40% is it. Across the board, universal. What do you before we tackle the next enchanter stuff? What do you think about anti-heal and the increase?
I think that's definitely the right way to do it. I think we discussed anti-heal a couple of weeks ago, and both of us basically said, hey, it should go back to how it was in Smite 1. I think this is probably very close to that, but not quite in a good way. I think I like the idea of anti-heal is just 40%. And that means now that if you are playing Sobek, you don't need to build Divine Ruin to get like super anti-heal. It's just no. It won't do anything for you, so you don't need to worry about. Now you can say, okay, this would be a game where I'd need Stygian Anchor. If I feel like I am hitting my Sickening Strike on the right targets, then I do not need Stygian Anchor. So there you go. It's like you have a choice to make, or you can make the choice via the god. And I think that's good. I do think this is the right change overall. One thing I did find when reading particularly this patch note is there's obviously the explanation there of every ability that had healing reduction on it. Bro, I didn't know about half of these. I was reading this. This is like Agni 1? What? I knew Arpwash, obviously you would pick him into like a healing comp, but I didn't know the 1 had the healing reduction. I mean, you just kind of throw every ability at once on Arpwash, right? So I wasn't like, all right, I need to make sure the healing is reduced before I hit them with the ticking per heal ability. I just assumed it was all on the 3. I thought that made sense. Ares 3? Is that new?
No, that's been in the game. Yeah, he's Burn. Always
had no idea on that one. RTO 1 I didn't know, but that's just because no one really cares about RTO 1, what it does. It heals you, and that's all you really care about.
I think it's the one on the bear form.
It's the one on the bear form. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, that does make a little bit more sense. Again, it's not what the ability was for, but it feels like it's pretty handy that it was there. I think the Sobek 3 is just kind of the famous one, like that was the obvious one. But in like Chak Aspect 3, Fenrir 3 was a big shock to me. Like their ability does everything. It quite literally like it does damage. It can do in-hand damage. It can proc ability effects.
Yeah.
It provides anti-heal. It provides protections to your ally. That is the most loaded ability in the entire game. What the
Yeah,
hell?
yeah.
And yet nobody's playing Fenrir. But even simple things like Izanami 2, Yomaganda 3, it's like
Izanami
I
2 I knew
didn't
about because I play a lot of Izanami. But
and it makes sense. But man, it was so unnoticeable on certain gods. I suppose, something like again like Sobek. Why it was so obvious is because if you get hit, you get plucked in, and now you've been anti-healed, right? It was just such a good combination. Whereas the rest, it kind of just feels like it's tacked on. Again, the Fenrir one's huge to me. Why does that provide anti-heal?
yeah.
I'm just so surprised. It's nice that they're being consistent. At least they're keeping track of what's got it. But man, there's so many things on these abilities these days which have these extra additions. Like again, we're talking about returning players, new players, and everything. What about the poor casters, man? How are you supposed to remember all this stuff? You got
Good luck
25
casting this.
aspects that are like competent and that might get picked. You've then got 60 plus gods that you also have to learn. And by the way, they all have these little tiny things these days. My God, I'm glad I'm a chair one because what the hell? I don't know how you keep track of all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're like we've already said. There might be things we say in the future. Might be things we've already said that is wrong. We're not encyclopedically knowledge of Smite. We have somewhat of a good knowledge of the game. But yeah, like you said, there's so many small nitty things. Like when I read an ability on a god that had just come out, I don't read the full length Bible that they put in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just check like what are the stats. Does this do more damage? What's the cooldown? Does that do more damage or less
yeah,
damage than this other one? Okay, I'll start this ability.
yeah.
There's certain
I,
things that kind of make sense. Like
yeah.
the Upwash 3, makes sense that
Yeah.
it reduces healing, and I already knew that, but it's not like I knew that his one also did that.
Yeah,
It's the same.
I would be surprised if there was anyone that knew all of those, because that
Mm,
covers lots of different roles as well as gods.
right.
Like this is just sort of trickled throughout everywhere. I think if I have to go through the list very quickly, I knew about Bacchus, Cucullin, Medusa, and Sobek. And other than that, if I was like, oh, I need anti-heal, I never ever would have picked any of the other gods in
Yeah.
this situation. And that's someone who's literally sat down some nights and studied gods and abilities to make sure I can call things out while casting. And I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I know some of these are Smite 2 editions, right? Like I'm pretty sure the Ares one is. I'm obviously the Chak aspect. Thing. It's not why you'd use the Chak aspect. I
Yeah.
suppose it is a nice touch on it, but that's not why you use that ability. I just feel like these are slotted on in just such a weird way. In abilities that don't make that much. Why does Jormungandr knock up provide anti-heal?
Yeah.
Like what? It's a knock-up. It's setup. I don't know. I'm just so shocked by some of
I
these.
mean, it's something you gotta take into account also is like when you pick a certain character, the archetype or like the idea with picking that character will really formulate in your mind how you see the character. So when I
Yeah,
pick a Sobek, I see him as this like he's the pluck machine and he's 3 does anti heal. But when I pick Fenrir,
yeah,
I don't think he can jump in and then anti heal you. No,
yeah,
I think he's
yeah,
gonna turn into a big wolf and grab you to his team. Like that is when I envision Fenrir. That's what I think. So I understand why some of these would go unnoticed because you don't even think about that as like the strength of the character or the reason why you even pick the character.
yeah.
But yeah, overall anti heal going up to 40%. I'm glad they're doing this in tandem with the healing changes that we're gonna see.
Yes, yes.
Because if this was just the 40%, I think right now, as an ADC, so I don't know mid. I know mid to some extent. I don't know. I would say I don't know too much with brawlers and Stygian because I play a little bit of mid, but I don't play any tank roles really that much. Or when I play jungle, it's rarely been with brawlers. Building Divine and Toxic Blade feels good with the current builds and with the current
Yeah,
meta. Building them feels good when you have to, but doesn't feel necessary when you don't.
yeah,
So I think, and this is before the 40%. So I think this is going to be a big change, and I'm glad. That's why I'm glad they're doing this at the same time as buffing the healers elsewhere, or enchanters and such, because if you're what we didn't want, what they have said that they didn't want is having to build Divine Ruin against no healers on the enemy team because
Yeah.
Divine Ruin is such a good item. And it was that in Smite 1 for the longest
Totally.
time, and we've seen it in Smite 2 for a little bit. Toxic Blade, I think I've never been a good enough item to build by itself. Now, it has felt to me in the games I've played that you can build Toxic Blade even when they have minimal healing, but you kind of still want, like if enemy ADC is building lifesteal, you can build Toxic Blade just to be able to 1v1 them more efficiently.
Yep.
So I think increasing it to 40% will just make these items even more attractive, even easier to build in these like lower healing situations. So I'm surprised to see this. I think it's a positive change, and I hope that they don't make the anti-heal items too good, so that we go back to having to build them, even when you'd rather build something, or like you wouldn't rather build something else because you would want to build Divine even when they don't have healers.
Just because it's got everything.
Because it's too
do
good.
remember Smite 1? It had like flat pen and it had like this chain lightning effect and it had the anti-heal. It's like we don't need that.
And like 90% power or 90 power or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I say, it's nice that they're doing this in tandem, because what you don't want is the healing. They want to make this enchanter thing work, right? Great. It's great. They have an idea. They want to push with it. Awesome. If you push it through and give all the healing like extra effects, so again, we don't really know what that's going to be, but we saw with Echo that they can be quite powerful. Right. If you have this and anti-heal sucks, man, what a 2 weeks that would have been. Right? Like just imagine how that would have felt. So I'm so glad they had the awareness to let's buff the anti, because even if healing sucks, people can still play around with the new items and everything, and then we'll get a real idea for exactly how it is. Right. So definitely the right time to make this type of change.
And the other change they're doing is what we've been alluding to. They're doing a pass over all healers, any healer in the game. And they're grouping them into 3 different archetypes: tanks, high damage, and enchanters. So you have tank healers and damage healers, enchanting healers. Tanks, classic, your Sylvanas, your Horus, Guan Yu, Yemoja. They are going to build tanky and they're going to heal on the side. You want them to have lower healing, good high base healing maybe, low base healing, but scales with levels, not with items. But the output of healing is going to be less overall. Then you have the damage healers, low base healing, also low scaling, because you don't want a damage dealer like a Ra, like an Ishel normal non-aspect, like a Cupid, like Hades, good as well, is on the list here. Don't want them to be able to destroy you in a 1v1 damage, but also heal themselves to full HP afterwards, so that you're just, there was nothing you could do. They have higher sustain and higher damage than you. That just feels bad, right? So, the damage dealers will now decrease their healing. Tanks will have decreased healing with some scaling. And enchanters, which is what we've been banging the drum on, at least me, I love this. Enchanters will finally have healing scale, damage not scale. So it's going to be, you have to build intelligence, but it's not going to help your damage numbers much. It's going to help a little bit. You have an Aphrodite. She's the first non-aspect character that is getting this change. Where her birds, the main healing ability, is now gonna go from 15% scaling on damage to 5% scaling on damage. And then she's gonna have another different scaling on her healing, which is 7%. So the healing is going to go up 7% depending on how much intelligence you have, and the damage will only go up by 5%, making her into an actual enchanter where she can't do damage and heal you at the same time to the same extent as they can now. You will see the same with all the enchanter aspects that they've called it enchanters, but they haven't really felt like how I wanted the enchanters to be, and now they're finally doing it with the Ra aspect, the Cupid aspect, the newest Ishel aspect that kind of focus on that already in her kit, where her scaling doesn't scale with damage. They're going to do that pass over with all the other quote-unquote enchanters. What do you think about all this, Judas?
I think it's good. I think it's again they've got this archetype they clearly want to make work. I'm only a little bit nervous that they're so focused on the healing side of this because again enchanters are cool and the healing is good. It's a good way to use an enchanter, but I would really like enchanters to be used in a slightly different way, sort of based around like the Chiron aspect, right? Where it's more about increasing your stats and providing CC rather
Right.
than healing. Now, Chiron does provide healing via that. It's a little, but it's like 60 healing like per thing. It's like not
Right.
not
Yeah.
much at all. Um, I prefer to be leaning that way, but I think most people will consider this healers, right? Particularly with the way with the rise of other games in modern day with stuff with things like these like hero shooters,
Yeah.
where the support characters are pretty much entirely healing and very
Mhm.
little utility, and they just have like normally like one utility usage. But I would prefer to see some utility in it, and I've actually noticed the current state of the patch right now with the echo being nuts and everything. I've noticed Kepri in particular um, doing very well, like full damage
Yeah.
from support with like all the echo stuff.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like I know like a lot of people hate it because it's Kepri. Why is he nuking my health bar? But he also doesn't have much health. But the good thing about Kepri, and the interesting thing that's popped up is Kepri with full echo seemingly does everything that Kepri full tank did, where you might grab someone if they're isolated, right? And then they can get killed. But if you try to just if you were full tank Kepri and you're in a 5-on-5 engagement and you just grab the person in front of you, you're dead or you're not going to do anything. Even if you're full tank. So now that people are playing it with full damage, they've sort of learned, okay, we can't do that. You have to be a bit more tactical about it. So they're utilizing the root and the way they're using that protection ball coming through. It's been like an enchanter type play style already in the game before this pass has even come through, which is cool. But clearly, this pass is not including that type of god,
Yeah.
or at least we don't know what the items are yet. And like in full, we don't know everything that's going to happen. So maybe there is something where that happens. But like Kepri doesn't have healing outside of like actually reviving. So then does he just get no use out of this? And that's kind of a shame. I don't know. We'll have to see when the items actually drop. But yeah, I think this is a good step. I think I'd like another step where there is a different type of enchanter that is. I would love a god that does no damage but boosts other people's stats and has like knockups and stuns.
Right. Yeah.
That could be cool. I would like to see that. I think that's probably on the way. That's probably something that's like in future. That might be where they look. But yeah, right now we're focused on healing. Fine,
I mean,
but I want it to be more than just healing.
wouldn't someone like Geb be that already? Except I guess he doesn't give stats.
Geb sort of, yeah. There is an archetype of tank in the game that is sort of sort of backline support.
Yeah.
But even then, Geb is at his best when he blinks in and ults, and
Right.
that still does nuts damage right now. And Geb actually himself does quite a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That's sort of, I think that is where he came in as, like in Smite 1. Geb initially was meant to be that type of god. Yeah, I'd say Geb and Kepri. Ganesh used to be that, but like Ganesh is just kind of also about damage, right? Like if Ganesh does a lot of damage, he's viable. If Ganesh doesn't do any damage, he never gets picked. It's like that
Yeah,
sort of
it's-
awkward spot. I'd like to see that come on in, and again, it would be cool. I think that's sort of what the ESET aspect sort of was, and it is that it does provide healing, but mostly it's about the silence, the stun, the circle of protection is a really big deal, but not for the damage, right? And not even really for the healing. It's more about the mitigations or even the objective secure. So I like that type of god, and I hope we get a bit more of that. And I do think this is a step just with the wording, the phrasing is focused on healing,
Mhm.
but I don't think High Res's focus is healing. I think they're just sort of presenting it that way because it's a bit easier to
Yeah.
grasp for the general person.
I mean, this either in either case, this is a step towards the right direction, in my
Yes,
opinion,
for
and
sure.
it shows that they're either paying attention to us, this podcast, which is what they should do because we know
They
better.
definitely
No, they pay attention to what their community wants, and they aren't afraid to make changes to really like deeply already established things, like foundational things in Smite has been that Aphrodite does damage as well as healing. They are changing like one of the most played gods in of any god. Aphrodite is one of the most played gods, especially amongst women, where they will now have a different, like completely different character on their hands because they're not changing her aspect. They're changing her main. I don't even know if she has an aspect. They're changing
she
main.
doesn't actually.
They're changing normal main Aphrodite into you can no longer just be in the fight doing a lot of damage. You have to be more careful about where you position yourself, and you're not going to be contributing much other than healing. And I'm glad to see that they're doing this. I hope they do what you're saying. What I would like to see is a character that shields, buffs, some stats. Like imagine a Fatalis as an item, but on a buff you give to someone. So like a Kepri ult or a Hou mark target. Just mark your ADC. Like if you're in a support, you mark your ADC, and they just get the Fatalis effect on them if they start. As long as that buff is like imagine it's much like what's his name, Fafnir 2, like having a character that has only these like select allies or select enemies, and it slows them or debuffs them in any way, and maybe some CC here and there, but they won't scale too much off of they won't like to have to do any damage, but their abilities have to be built with intelligence because they all scale off of intelligence, so they can't build tank. Because what you will see if such a character can build tank is that they will just never build anything else, and they'll just be a tank that also buffs allies. But what we kind of want to see is someone that has to be a backline buffer, buffing your allies. And I hope that that's where they're going next. That'd be great. All right. There's a topic that to move on from this. We're very happy about this. Thank you so much, Harris, for doing this. I can't wait to see it in action. Also, they are doing next Titan Talk. They're talking about the Enchanter items that's going to come.
Cool.
Can't wait for those. I hope Lotus Crown's going to come back. I hope similar items to that will be there. So we'll talk about that next time. But for now, great direction. Can't wait to see it in game. But you said you want to bring up something called being in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in the zone, Judas?
I am not currently in the zone, and that's kind of the point of the point, funnily enough.
Okay.
So, I had a little bit of a ranked spree a couple of days ago. Don't always get tons of time for ranked, but I was like, let's play some ranks. Me and an acquaintance jump in the rank queues. And Nickel, I've played a lot of Smite. Well, I played some Smite. I've taken part in competitive stuff and everything, but I'm not that good of a player. I'll openly admit it. I know what I'm talking about a lot of the time, but generally, I wasn't a guy who plays Smite. I'm a guy who plays Smite. Probably my highest rank ever is like Diamond in Smite 1 and Smite 2.
Lowest amount of games played in Road to Vegas, highest amount of deaths. All I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, see it's there. But like I have played competitively. I have won things competitively as well, and just generally done okay sometimes, and sometimes done not so okay. But a lot of that comes down to the fact that I don't have a lot of time to play a lot of ranked.
Right.
Well, lately I've been trying to get a bit more of the ranked games in, and I had some time to play a few games. And Nickel, let me tell you, I was absolutely popping off.
Oh.
And I mean. Okay. One way I'm going to describe this to you, okay, is 3 games in a row. Not only did I go like 15-5 or something like that, this is from mid and carry, but I got 3 quadra kills in 3 games, just straight, just a quadra kill in each game. Okay. Do you know the thing though, Nickel? No. Each of those 3 games, quadra kill plus 15 kills and like less than 10 deaths, I lost all 3 of them. Then I had some other games where I didn't do as well, but we did win. And I probably played, I don't know, something like 10 games. And I think we won like 5 of them, lost 5 of them, that type of day. But I was playing the best Smite of my entire damn life. I'm telling you, every decision I made was on point. Every time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get aggressive here. I got the kill and didn't die. Every time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this 1v1. I'd win the 1v1.
Yeah.
Every time I would call, hey guys, let's kill gold. We'd go and kill gold and then kill like 3 people after as well. It was awesome. It was just on fire. So today, had some more time to play some ranked. Queued up, same player, into the rank queues. I think, how many games did I play today? 4. I think I played 4 and won 3 of them.
Yeah.
Man, I was playing awful. I didn't do anything good. I don't think I hit double-digit kills in any game. Again, from mid and carry. What happened? I don't get it. The only thing I can describe it as is, like I said, being in the zone. Sometimes you're just on it. But I wanted to bring it up as like how much does that really matter? If one player is popping off, but the rest of the team is not really functioning, why does that feel so important in Smite? Because I find in other games, other team-based games, you can have that one guy just kind of kill everyone and the game kind of works. I've played plenty of Overwatch, played plenty of ranked in Overwatch. If you had a tracer on your team who's just killing 3 people every team fight, you won the game. It was as simple as that. You couldn't lose. And yet in Smite, it feels like you can be in a situation where multiple things have to go right. Again, it's the sign of a good game. This is not a criticism. This is a, hey, this game's kind of good, because not only can you pop off and win, you can also do terrible and win. And both of those things are kind of how it should be. But why, Nicola? I was wondering if you had any input on that. How do you feel, if you've ever been in the zone yourself, just at a particular day where you're playing well? How can you sort of capture that and sort of make that something more consistent?
I mean, it's a phenomenon you hear a lot in normal sports as well, right? It's not just the
True.
video games. And I think it occurs when your entire focus, like, becomes your current what you're currently doing. All other worries and everything else about the world just disappears. All you're focusing is on this exact thing, and your self-confidence is constantly being boosted by what you're currently doing. Because I think that is one of the main things about being in the zone is, as a pro player, whenever you do something and you see good results, you're going to do that again, or you're going to have the confidence to do something else that you think will make results. And if you what's holding a lot of people back is confidence. It's just, and I can feel it myself. I'm at the rank now in Smite 2 where I, get into a game with adapting every now and then, and have to play against Nika in solo lane and stuff like this. If they notice that you're afraid, or you don't push your advantage, you'll just get run over, because they don't have that same flaw where they feel like they might lose if they step out of step step out of position, sorry, for 1 second. If you don't have that holding you back, if you feel like anything you're going to do will just be the right thing to do, will always lead to success, even if it doesn't, you still feel like you just shake that off, whatever mistake you made, and you're still in there. I think it just amplifies and exponentially builds you more and more confidence until that confidence gets shaken. And that's why you can fall out of the zone, because you'll make too many mistakes that hit you too hard. But if you can hold on to it, you can just keep rolling, keep going. And if you have the thing is, you need to also have the mechanical and mental skill to keep it rolling, or you'll lose it. Because what you'll probably notice, if you aren't as high level as, let's say you're while you're in the zone, your peak would be masters. Let's say that if you're playing peak gaming, you're masters. If you then hit a deity or a demigod player comes into your lobby and he does something that shakes you, because you don't have the mental and mechanical skill to just overcome that, it will rattle you to the point where you lose it, and then your skill drops down to maybe Obsidian Diamond again, because you've been so focused and everything's been working for you that you know. So yeah, I think self confidence has a lot to do with it, and I think the zone doesn't just you don't just click into it. It's something that builds, and then suddenly you're in it, and you gotta keep hold of it by continuing to not let other things from the outside, whether it be real life or other things around in the game, uh, you know, mess you up.
See, I'm going to take that. And the next time one of my ranked teammates pings me for not rotating, then say, bro, I'm in the zone.
I'm in
Leave
the
me
zone.
to it.
Shut the fuck up! I'm not going
I'm
to
in the
Gold
zone,
Fury.
man.
I'm in the zone.
But no,
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice way to put like that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I've played a lot of Smite. I don't remember having a day like that ever, like genuinely ever. I've definitely had competitive games where I felt like I generally when I'm playing competitively, you would know, Nickel. I'm generally more of a shot caller, and
Yeah.
then I've generally had success
Good one at
playing
that.
support where I can sort of I can sort of I can see a game in front of me. I've always been very poor at actually executing it, but you know when you have a team looped around me, particularly whether they will just do as I say and then mechanically kick ass.
Yeah.
It's always been really good. Like I've definitely had games where I felt like I've directed a good game, but actually playing one myself, particularly in a ranked streak, I thought it was so shocking. But yeah, no, I thought it was a nice little window for especially other players who whoever is listening to this, you might be at any kind of skill level, you might be very high level, you might be quite low level, but everyone still kind of needs that reminder sometimes of like, hey, you can sometimes play well and
Yeah.
sometimes play poorly, and it can be, it's not just oh I'm bad. Like no, you might be good. Sometimes you might be bad at other things,
Right.
and it's no trying to sort of reassure yourself. Sometimes you might have like a bad couple of weeks even of
Absolutely.
playing where just things go wrong. But yeah, you can always kind of improve, and most of that comes down to, like you say, confidence and like focus and being calm, right? You don't want to be booting up the game like, oh man, I hope I don't lose again, or I hope I don't die in the first 5 minutes. Like no, you might die in the first 5 minutes, but can you keep it together after that, right?
Right.
And but yeah, no, I thought it was a nice little topic to bring up again, something we don't really get to
Talk about
touch
too
on
much.
sometimes is
Yeah.
the intangibles of playing
Exactly.
Smite. Again, I was playing well and losing, and then I was playing badly and winning, but what does it all mean? And
Can I
yeah, no,
ask you
I thought it
what
was pretty
felt
cool.
better for you?
What felt better? Definitely the playing well,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Because in fact, in my streak, I had actually one bad game. I was playing Agni mid in a game in a day where I had previously done incredibly well on Agni mid, so confidence is sky high. And I came up against a Merlin player who was top elo in the lobby. I'm like, oh, whatever, it's only Merlin, and he just crushed me, man. I was like 0-3 after 10 minutes, but then I had like a dueler and a jungle that would just going nuts, and then we like end the game, and I was like, man, I'm 0-5. We won. I did like 9,000 player damage in 20 minutes, but I'm like, damn, why did I win that game? Why
Yeah.
was I winning when I was losing? It didn't feel good to win. I'd rather play well and lose. Not even have to play well, right? I think I gain a lot of uh, happiness from the game when I feel like I've made the right choices. I
Mm.
think sometimes you can take a fight and lose it, but oh man, I was definitely right to go for that. You might be playing Shubalonkay and you've missed 6 autos, right? Because that's what I've been grinding, and I've missed a lot of autos sometimes. Sometimes it feels like, oh, I've definitely dropped a kill, but maybe, again, if as long as I've done the right things, I think I feel a lot happier. I think
Right.
I struggle to be one of these players who's repeatedly doing the wrong thing and then blaming the rest of their team. They exist. If anything, they're more common. But yeah, I think funny enough, if that is you, one of the ways I've seen that sort of get shaken is from playing competitively. I think you can really learn a lot from having trust in a team where if you do something and maybe the play doesn't work out and your team like has a total wipe or something and you go, oh well, I did XYZ, why didn't it work? If you can actually ask a team who have players you trust, like I say, and they say, well, you might have done XYZ, but I couldn't follow up because
Right.
ABC, that can make you so much of a better player, right? Than like to just recognize, oh, hold on, I might get a 4-man ultimate as Ares, but if my team is in base, there's no way they're going to be able
Yeah.
to follow up, right? Like
Yeah.
that's an extreme, but that can still happen. You can still have these type of circumstances. But yeah, there's always tons to learn about Smite, and that's one of the things I really like about this game.
Yeah. And for all those out there feeling like, oh, am I the worst player of all time or worst like mental person because I feel, that it's always the team's fault or whatever. I am like that. That's me. You just described me. Because I am, unlike you, I hate playing well and then losing. That is my worst feeling of all time, because then I feel like, okay, so like the universe was just against me. I couldn't do anything better, and we still were I was just destined to lose that game, and I deserved to win. And that's one of my biggest peeves about Smite, is when I feel like I deserve to win and I didn't, because fucking idiots on my team or on the enemy team just ruining my game. So I'm like that. We are different in that way. Where is that if I lost and I played well, horrible feeling. If I played horribly and won, I'm like, yeah, well, I'll play better next game. So the fact that the fact that I got a freebie, I deserve it. I deserve that freebie every now and again. That's how I feel. And you hit nail on the head every time. Like, especially when I play jungle a lot, because part of being jungler is setting up your team. So many times where I'm like, going in, forcing 7 beads, Hunbat's ulting their entire team and family, and then my team is just standing there, doing like red buff. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm trying to win the whole game for you here. So yeah, bad habit that I have is blaming team. I never did it in competitive, because when I play competitive, it's way different. But in ranked games, I'm the worst at that. I always blame someone else. I always find a reason why it wasn't my fault, and I try to not do it. It's hard. It's hard to like accept that you're making mistakes or doing things wrong. But it is how you get better. So even though my first instinct is to blame someone else, I always reflect over what I did and, try to get better at. And that's what everyone needs to do if you're out there and you actually want to get better. You don't have to record your games and look through what you did wrong, but try to remember back. Even though you felt like everything was everyone else's fault, you can always position better. You can always not engage. You can always not take the fight. You can always abandon your team. One thing that I learned as an ADC and mid laner is, you are the two most important people in the team, no matter what. As in, you're the most important people to stay alive. Because if the enemy team is trying to end the game, if you two are dead, they will end the game. Like the solo support jungle can't stop 5 of the enemy team from pushing with lane minions into the Titan and just killing the Titan. They don't have enough damage, or they don't have enough lane wave clear. And as I played a lot of mid and ADC, you need to learn that sometimes you just gotta abandon your team, because the better play is to not follow in and just keep yourself alive. And that feels bad, because your teammates will hate you. You will feel like you're going against your instinct because you want to be in there and play the game and be, with the boys. But sometimes that's not the right thing to do. And yeah, just try to, whenever something goes wrong, if you die, whatever it might be, sometimes it's inevitable. Adapting, one of the greatest players of Smite of all time, dies. Of course he dies. Yeah. People die. And he might not even get a kill when he dies. He might get caught out of position. People do that. We talked about the zone. These people have been in the zone, and their zone is, stratospherically levels above our zone, but they still make mistakes. No one's perfect. You, as whatever player, whatever level you are, you're going to make mistakes. The most important thing is that you try to find them and you try to improve on them. And that is hard. I have really hard time doing it. I work on it constantly, and it's not something you want to do. You don't want to think, what could I do better, when you see your Poseidon running in 1v5 trying to steal, red buff with his Kraken and then miss. Your first instinct isn't, could I have helped that Poseidon?
I have done that?
It's what is this guy doing? Of course, that's the first instinct, but you gotta try to put that aside. You can be angry in the moment, but after that, you gotta put that aside and try to focus on yourself, because that is the only factor you can, in every game, only factor that you can actually manipulate is yourself. Only thing you can do anything about is yourself. Try to focus on yourself. If you're angry, be angry. But after the anger subsides, change the focus.
I would just like to bring this back to a moment I had in ranked earlier today.
Yeah.
While playing ADC, I've got an Aphrodite support, totally fine, no hate. There was a Ganesh solo with Aspect, fine. I'm not the type of guy to hate on something. And the game's going terribly, right? It's going bad. There are 2 people on my team who have kills. It was me and our jungler. Frontline has died something like 18 times between them in a relatively short amount of time. And I'm again, it's one of those games. I'm like, all right, we're just getting kind of rolled here. Do what we can, whatever. At one point, then, my support, not to call this guy out because I'm sure lovely person behind the screen, but yeah, calls out, man, we just have no damage. And I said,
Yeah.
man, we just have no frontline. What are you talking about? And this guy was so mad about that. It was the only thing I said in chat the whole game, but he was so upset. He is auto walking, typing to me, and walks into 5 people and died. And I'm just like, okay, bro, let's just chill out. And to be honest, I think it was a bonding moment for us. We went over that very quickly. There was no more argument after that.
Yeah, I mean, he can't really argue against that after that. You know, like
that was like, brother, please. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is not how we play.
Guys,
again,
remember, don't do drugs, stay in school, don't type in ranked games. That's the three important rules of life.
Just keep a cool head. You can lose games. And it's fine. It doesn't have to be, like it's like, all right, we're losing this game, but also I am sending a bomb to your house. Like, bye. like it doesn't need that. You can lose games. It's fine. It's totally fine, guys. Have you ever had that moment where you queued with someone, like not partied up? You're in a queue with someone and you play a game and it goes horribly and everyone's arguing in chat, or whatever, and then you queue up another game and you're on the same team and everyone's this guy again, here we go, and then you just steamroll the enemy team and win, and they're like, it was all me this time.
This classic. We have lost in lobby already because we have Judas Priest on the team. Dude, no, I remember back in the Minecraft days when. I was playing
competitive Minecraft games.
Yeah, I was playing PvP in Minecraft, and then suddenly in chat, your teammate or whatever just sends your IP address. And you're like, whoa. We used to use Skype, so you're just like in the Skype chat, just like,
connected,
yeah, you live in Norway, huh? what the fuck? Help! I'm like 12, bro. Chill. Yeah. Do you think Smite 2 is better than Smite 1?
Yes. Yeah. So, I saw a little bit of discussion on this. I can't remember who it was, unfortunately, but I was following someone on Twitter who basically said that they played a game of Smite 1 and how much better that felt. And I thought they were wrong. Now, I didn't call them out on Twitter. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I'm not going to, we're not going to screenshot coming up on screen, guys. Don't worry. I'm not.
There's his IP address, his real address. And...
but yeah, I was basically looking at it. I was like, look, there are right. So when I say, is Smite 2 right now better than Smite 1? Obviously, we don't have esports. We don't have 10 years of camaraderie, and probably all your friends don't play. Your personal enjoyment of Smite 2 might be worse than Smite 1, and that is probably correct, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you, oh no, you should be having way more fun. No, probably not, right? For a variety of factors. But in terms of the game, if Smite 2 stopped development right now, just before your Enchanter pass, sorry, Nickel, if it stopped right now, with all the gods and the aspect as they are, the items as they are, this, I think, would be good. Yeah. Now, I'll go into a few reasons why, and I'll let you think about this, Nickel, before you tear me down inevitably.
Always seem to do that, don't I?
I'm feeling right now, you can play most of the roster. Is there an ADC that is bad? I don't think so. Is there a support that is unplayable? I don't think so. I think when you look at the way you queue into an enemy team, is there any one god that is ridiculously oppressive? No, I wouldn't think so. There are definitely frustrations, right? Some people hate playing against like Aladdin. Me personally, I think I ban Horus every game. I was queued with someone playing support who said, don't ban Horus. I'd already banned it. I'd already pressed it. Sorry, bro. I'm banning Horus because I hate playing against that god. But there is so much versatility and viability in not just how you play, but like how you build as well. You can build in a tanky way. You won't get too tanky, right? I don't think there's a super tank build out there right now. And you could play a healer. You could play something more damage-based. And I think all of these things are viable enough that, particularly for a casual player, it's all there. I think there is nothing missing from Smite 2 that like has to be in there for it to be better than Smite 1. I just feel
Right.
like the bases are all covered. We've got 3 objectives which all have their moments to shine. I like the fact that, Fire Giant doesn't spawn right away, so it's not
Mm.
just always the most important thing on the map. You got things like the Midnight Queen, which again, I don't think it's perfect, right? I'm not saying that all of these things are shouldn't ever be touched. But I feel like if I just played a game of Smite 1 right now, it would feel so much less intensive,
Mm.
and I saw one of these comments on Twitter which basically said like things like executing minions should be taken out. Why remove these features? If the game, like, if you don't like active items, or you feel like there should be 2 relics still, just get better at the game, bro.
Yeah.
You don't need these things. You don't need beads and aegis every game. You don't need blink and beads. You need to make a choice and then play correctly around that. I don't feel like I've ever seen a game where I'm like, oh man, if this guy had beads and blink, he would have done so much better. Like, he might have done a bit better, but it wouldn't make that much of a difference. And again, we have the facility to use it. If you really need beads, you can build Cersei's Hexstone. If that doesn't give you enough damage, then you have to do without it. Sorry,
Yeah.
man. It's like, find another way. I just feel like in the current state of Smite 2, it has already surpassed Smite 1 as a game. The rest will hopefully come. But right now, I would love to see. I don't know if it's going to come from you or from someone commenting later, Nickel. But I would love to see an argument, a genuine, fully well-intentioned argument for why Smite 1 is still better than Smite 2.
Well, I don't think I have an argument that just like slams it's better. Because I think everything about Smite 2 screams it's better, more polished, better engine. Yes, might have more bugs, but it's a like objectively better game. What I think people mean and what they feel when they say Smite 1 is better is the feeling of Smite 1. Because when I look at videos of myself, like clips and stuff I have when I play Smite 1,
yeah,
it brings this fondness back. And I think the main issue I have with Smite 2 right now is the Conquest map. I think the Conquest map is too bland right now. It would be, I think that is like the last thing Smite 2 needs. But I think Smite 2 is always going to be a different game. And we got to remember that it's not trying to be Smite 1. It's trying to be different and better. It's not. This is a topic we wanted to bring up a few weeks ago, but we didn't have time. Is would what people think they want is Smite 1 in UA5. What Hi-Rez have decided to do is make a different game in UA5. Unreal Engine 5 with just Smite 1 ported directly over same graphics, same everything. First of all, couldn't be done. I think if Hi-Rez could, they would probably bring a lot more of the quote unquote feel if they could just copy paste, value numbers in. But that's not feasible because they're 2 different engines, and the Smite UAE 3 engine was by nature like extremely convoluted and had a lot of plugins. The UAE 3 that Hi-Rez was using, that was either proprietary or was just an amalgamation of a lot of public plugins that Hi-Rez had mangled together to make Smite a functioning game in the year of like 2023 when it was still being developed. The Smite 2 is sharper. Like that's the main thing I see when I look at Smite 1. It's like bubbly, it's like ooh, like it has round edges. Everything is like smooth and nice. Smite 2 is more harsh, more straight lines, and more serious looking. Like the effects is way less cartoony. They're way more high definition, which by nature makes it more sharper and more of a serious look. And like if anyone went to play Smite 1 and then play Smite 2, there's so many issues about Smite 1 that people have just accepted.
Yeah.
So they don't see those when they go back to play Smite 1.
Yeah.
Whereas Smite 2 has ironed out all of those issues. Yes, it has some issues of its own, but that might be fixed. And it's just, there's so much about Smite 2 that is just subjectively and objectively better
Mhm.
You could argue subjectively some of it is like I don't like aspects because it makes it too many things I gotta remember. You
Yeah,
know, that's understandable, but it's
totally valid. Right.
objectively making the game more interesting. And the smoothness of the game is better. Yes, we still have this movement patch that's gonna come. So we'll see when that comes. Maybe that brings in that last little feel of like, things aren't really like Smite 1. I think overall, the game is objectively better. It has more interesting stuff. It has more of a cohesion around items, around gods, around builds, around the maps. Like the arena map looks amazing. The joust map looks beautiful.
Yep.
Like I hope we get the same level of the joust map in the conquest map. Yes, assault is just assault right now. It's just a mid lane in conquest, and then stripped of everything else. But it feels, and also this can't be uh brushed away, is the development cycle in Smite 2. I don't know how they have kept this up for now 2 years
Yeah.
of pumping out content, balance updates as well as new gods every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Either means Smite 2 in UAE 5 makes them able to work faster, or they have been crunching for 2 years straight, which is inhuman. So I tend to lean towards the latter, or
With I
the
think a smaller dev team, right?
it's a
I think
smaller dev
overall it's
team.
a
Yeah,
smaller team. So a smaller team completing more. Yes, you don't have as many design choices. They are not designing fresh gods right now, which is what takes a lot of the time, right? They don't have to concept art and decide and then plan out like, oh, what if we did this ability and have it to work this way. They don't have to do that right now, right? So that surely does help with it. But the fact that they are still able to make these +1 changes, or
right,
the aspects of it, some of these aspects are significantly different, right? Where it's like, oh, they have had to add or change the way these things work, which just
right.
means that there is a fluidity to the process, like you're talking about. That just seems so much more fluid. And I suppose we wouldn't hear about this, but we don't hear of complaints from the studio of like, oh, it's like excessively evil type of crunch,
Yeah.
right? There's always with the gaming industry, there is this sort of assumption that there will be crunch, you will be pushed to work extra hours and stuff and have a harsh time. But there's no inkling that this is excessive, right? You don't
Right,
hear
right.
of people, oh, I'm quitting today because of this. There was a bit of an exodus, and then it sort of rounded off, right? It's like I don't remember the last time someone left. I think it's just more like they've sort of got the team now as they want, and yeah, people aren't just quitting. And yeah, it seems like things are functioning quite well. So that's good. One of the things that I wanted to point out as well. I was saving this in case you had an argument against me, Nickel, but you don't
Okay,
have a
yeah.
good enough one. So great.
Oh,
Yeah, again, great points. It does look different. It does feel different. You don't have that sort of doesn't feel like Smite 1. Totally on board with that. But one thing I've really liked, which I've paid a lot of attention to the last couple of days, is the way that the actual map, the conquest map, flows. Again, the look, bleh, full agreement. But the way the gameplay works, right? So let's say you're playing dual lane. You have to clear a buff, right, before starting. You're just disadvantaged if you don't, but you have enough time to clear the buff and get to the first waves right as the waves crash. You don't even miss a minion. And pretty much everyone clears this purple camp at about the same speed, unless you're playing something excessively not viable. But the waves crash, you get there, and generally one team will establish some lane dominance for the first two waves. Two waves go down. All of a sudden, the sort of mid jungle buff camp spawns, as does the smaller camp on the other side. Now the team with pressure has choices to make. They can say, okay, we have a lot of pressure. We're going to go take the buff and come back for the wave. Or they can say, we don't have a lot of pressure. We're going to go take the gold camp and come back for the wave. Or they could say, hey, we don't have any pressure. We're going to stand here and not take it and make sure they don't take a camp either.
yeah.
Or and then sort of the wave kind of the way the lane works out sort of juggle. So let's say they say, okay, we have a lot of pressure. We're going to head for the buff camp. They head over to the extra buff camp, come back. This should, if the other team is playing correctly, hand lane pressure to the other team. They now clear the wave faster. Now they have a choice. Do we push our advantage? Do we look to get some health damage? Do we go for the small camp? Do we run away?
Mm-hmm.
This is all within about 3 minutes of gameplay where choices have been made. The players don't even know. People come in autopilot, right? And you just sort of react to what's going. But these are choices that are made inherently by the game design. Because also, hey, when that buff camp spawned, that is the time when the jungler has a choice. Do I head to
Right.
mid, contest the buff there? Do I head to duo, help out there? Do I head to duo and add the pressure? It's like there is so many choices just in the way that the map layout works, the timing of everything. And again, this sort of fits almost no matter what god you're playing. If you're playing a typical jungler with a typical duo lane on both sides, it will all work out this way, and it flows really, really naturally to the point where some people probably don't even realize these choices are being made.
Right.
And I think I really like that for how Smite 2 is right now. And I don't think Smite 1 ever really had that. I don't think it had this sort of natural function. You had your, oh, this is the most efficient start, and you just kind of did that. And then, okay, and now you got wave pressure, now you clear this camp, and then we come back to it's like there was so much choice, which is something I have been harping on for weeks now, apparently 9 weeks, that you need to be making choices constantly. And yeah, I think the way that Smite 2 is designed is, again, it feels natural. You could make it via flowchart, but you still have to make these choices. And I just really like the state that we've reached. And I'm excited about the fact that it looks like it's just going to improve from here. It doesn't seem like it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I think one of the things that really makes me believe in Smite 2, like how make it so hopeful, is to see how they're pushing things and what the decisions that Hi-Rez is currently making. I remember, I think it was right after Aladdin was released, and this big layoff thing happened. There was a lot of chatter in the community. I talked to some prominent names, even some of the people that got laid off, and there was some rumblings about Hi-Rez being bought by Epic Games, by EA, maybe a
Yeah.
Saudi company, maybe a Chinese company, Tencent.
Yep. Remember
And I was rooting for them to be purchased because I felt like this is a sign that they are kind of giving up. They put
Yeah.
all their eggs in the Smite 2 basket. It clearly didn't keep the company afloat, and now it's gonna go on like what's it called, like life supply? No, lifeline. What's it
life
called?
support.
Yeah, it's like on life support, and they're not gonna really make improvements to the game because they don't have the staff for it. But they have completely changed my mind. And it makes me so hopeful when I see big changes being made that the community is asking for. Hot fixes being pushed out days after an update. Like, oh, we made a mistake here. Let's fucking, boom, fix that right away. Let's not wait 2 weeks for the next update cycle to fix something that is ruining the game. Uh, sorry. Someone in the chat just asked a question, but we'll get to that after. Sorry.
I'm not gonna look.
Don't look. It's addressed to you.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I just think right now Hi-Rez is showing that they are really trying to make Smite 2 their new game, the main game, which was another issue I had with Smite 1 Hi-Rez, is that they always kept making another game and then making that game like the main game. And so like I remember when Paladins came out, like so many Smite devs jumped to Paladins, and then when Royal Rivals,
Clash Royale?
No. It was something Royale. Rumble?
Realm Royale.
Realm Royale, that's it. Realm Royale, when that came out, you just, again, everyone jumped on Realm Royale, and then you had the same thing with the fucking TFT game, and then there was another, like, tactics game, and it was
Prophecy, loved it.
Prophecy, yeah, that's it. It was like a card game. Dude, they were just making games instead of taking the cash cow that they had and like, let's try to make that the best thing ever. But now they have completely abandoned everything else, and just are completely focused on Smite 2. They're gonna make Smite 2 their main game, and they're gonna try to make it as good as possible. And it clearly shows with the things they're making. I still think Smite 2 and Smite 1 is the best skins in any game. I think the skin game that Hi-Rez has, like whoever their artists are, keep them locked down in like 10-year contracts because they are making insanely well designed skins. And because of how the game is designed, you see your character with the whole skin.
Yeah.
So you are so incentivized to buy any skin that you like. Like in Overwatch, you're first person, you don't see the skin.
Yeah, you missed the whole thing. Yeah.
Marvel Rivals, I don't think their skins are any like they're so bland and not that interesting. League of Legends, you're so far away from your character, you can't even see the skin that well. So like I genuinely think it's the skin game that Smite has. The skin game that Hi-Rez has in general is just out of this world good. And it's the
Yep.
way they monetize the game, and I understand that they're making money off this game because it's so good. I just hope that they can just continue push through whatever. If you want to call this a hardship phase where everyone hasn't committed to Smite 2 yet, what I'm
Yep.
hoping is that they when they release Smite 2, they get all their ducks in a row, and then people will migrate over. I hope to some extent that they shut down Smite 1. I want it to still be playable, but I don't want people to clinging to something that isn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want them to completely like turn off the servers, or if they just like put it on hiatus for a little bit while trying to make people try out Smite 2
Yeah.
in some way. Obviously, if people want to play Smite 1, play Smite 1, but that's not where Hi-Rez's focus is right now. And I'd rather them go to Smite 2 than not play anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my main thoughts on Smite 1 versus Smite 2. We had a tournament that is happening. Oh, it had, sorry. We are having or there is a tournament that is happening. There was, or is it a league or is it a tournament?
It is
Sorry,
a league
a
a
league.
league setup. Yep.
All right, so a team league.
Yep.
What's the difference between a draft league and team league, Judas? For those who don't know.
So, a lot of draft leagues around at the moment. What a draft league is that the league admins will pick a set amount of team captains. The team captains will then draft players from within a player pool, and then whoever clashes heads ends up at the top at the end of the season is generally the winner. But a team league is more traditional. This is how the SPL was formatted, and it is that type of system where you show up with your 5 players plus maybe a sub or two, and you play a weekly game, and then whoever again is at top at the end wins. But generally, most of these league seasons will end with a playoff phase. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to El Dorado Smite EU, who have been going through their league system for the last few weeks. I think it's been something like 8 to 10 weeks. It felt like a while, actually. It felt like a couple of months. This is the same group that organized a tournament earlier this year. I think it might have been in January. And that was a very successful tournament too. They've then gone on to run just regular league phases for a while, and I think they'll probably spruce in some just weekend tournaments in future as well.
Right.
But the league phase and the player phase are coming to an end, and the finals will be coming up really soon. If you have any interest in watching some competitive EU-based Smite, make sure you check out El Dorado. I believe it is El Dorado Esports on Twitch. That those games are due to be played sometime after the 31st of August. I
It's
believe I would just
Eldorado Smite Europe. That is a
El Dorado Smite
mouthful,
Europe. There
but
we go.
it's on the screen right now. Eldorado Smite, and
Lovely.
then spell out Europe in one word. You can
Spell out
also
Europe.
just search up Eldorado Smite, and it will probably pop up.
Yeah, I've obviously worked with this group a little bit since they've sort of formed the start of this year, and yeah, it's been they've had a few games broadcast. I think I've done one myself as well. But right now the broadcasting scene is pretty tough. That's why they're making a real push to try to get the grand finals coming through. I think it's the middle division and the lower division coming up soon. And yeah, I think let me just check. Yeah, sometime between the 31st of August and the 6th of September. And yeah, I might be involved. I don't know if I will be involved, but no matter what, make sure you check that out because it will be a really nice culmination for what is a maiden season for these guys. And yeah, it's always nice to you know have a nice culmination. It can be hard to follow a league phase sometimes, but hey, here we go. Here's the end. This is all you really need to see. You can watch this. You might get hooked, and then you might want to check it out for the next season. But yeah, make sure you keep an eye out for this because when it does come through, it will be really good fun to watch. Again, I know the plan is for it to be broadcasted, hopefully then uploaded maybe to YouTube if you can't catch it live. And yeah, it should be really good fun.
Yeah, a great way to support the grassroots of Smite esports right now, and possibly see Judas cast some games, huh?
Oh, what a time. It's been a while.
Yeah. What was the last time you casted?
Oh man. Hmm. I haven't done like a full on like serious cast, it couldn't even be the El Dorado tournament in January, which I had to run myself. Like I had to do the production and the observing the whole day myself. It's a tough old day. Yeah, it's been a long time since I managed to get something. I've done some casual casts where it's just like me and the spectator, and we just kind of like just talk over the game. But yeah, I know there's still people who do broadcast these games. I think you can follow Zola on Twitch. He tends to watch a lot of games. Unicornography has been doing some casting lately as well. A relatively new name popping up. There is esports out there. There are people casting. Yeah. It's not just me. There are things out there. It's just very hard to, unless you hear about it, right? You're just not going to know. So yeah, hopefully I can point you guys in some direction because there's still plenty of esports in EU. Still more than enough going on in NA as well. So yeah, we're on the way back, Nickel. There's competitive Smite happening. Feels like every weekend there's something going on. We had Smite Source coming up too. We haven't even got a chance to mention that this week. Is it signups tomorrow?
Signups have already came out. You can already sign up. Sorry, right? It's already open. It opened yesterday, 19th. Nice. We are participating. Judas and I. Obviously, Judas as a sub because he's not good enough.
Because if I get 15 kills, you guys will lose anyway. So.
Exactly. God damn it! No, but yeah. Hopefully, you guys will watch that. If not, try to check out some of the grassroots Smite esports stuff. You might learn to start loving some players, loving maybe one tournament format in particular. This El Dorado thing is going to be great as just a culmination of stuff that's been happening this year, and then Smite Source happening right after in the start of September. So please check that out, guys. For now, though, we're going to jump to our Q&A. If you have any questions, type them in Twitch chat now. If you have any questions for us for next week, type it in the comment section on YouTube or on Reddit, which is one of our questions that come from Reddit. First, though, question that I laughed at earlier, addressed to you, Judas, from Cedric's. Judas, how does buffed Sobek aspect feel?
It feels so much better. That is the first thing I have to say.
Okay.
I do also believe there will be a world for it. But I tested it, Nickel, actually. And, we're talking about, it the passive gives attack damage, right?
Right.
Do you know what I was expecting? I was expecting like 50 damage. Right. Do you know how much it is?
No.
3. Stacking up to 3 times, by the way.
All right, nice. Let's go. Bah, bah, bah.
Yeah. At that point, I don't know why it's there. It did feel pretty good. It felt so much better than it used to. I think a lot of people were critical of the tail whip, but I think it makes jungle clear so much better and makes so much more sense. And you can't hit people away by accident when you're trying to finish them off. It is definitely an improvement. And I do believe there is a world it's very strong. I think not with 3 attack damage. I also think the jungle at the moment is very burst heavy, right? It's lots of ability based junglers just sort of swoop in, get a kill, and hopefully swoop back out. We still see Bastet strong, Susano, Loki, things like that. Maybe if there was a time where you've seen things like Kali, Armor coming in, I think Sobek would be in there.
Right.
I still believe it. I'm still a believer in the Sobek aspect. I also think with the way that the aspect released, people are very hesitant to even give it a shot. And why should they? There are still plenty of things better to play. I think the way things released kind of sticks with God sometimes. I think Mordred has this issue where Mordred's been very strong for a long time. A lot of people just don't touch the God because it was so weak on launch, And I think the Sobek aspect, I would still love a different one. Let me tell you. Yeah. I think there are definitely other ways to do that. But the way that the push felt, it was pretty good, which always felt good, to be honest. Even if it wasn't the pluck, it still felt the push has always been a pretty good ability. But now I think if they're going to lean into this type of playstyle, they just need to go a bit further on it. You need to make him a magical version of Armor, right? Something that just sticks to you, and you really need to get them off, because if you don't, they will kill you. Whereas adding 9 damage does not do that. You don't want. It's not something you build attack speed based, really. Because it's not worth it. Again, if it was like 50 damage, if you could be swinging for 150 damage minimum, right? Something like that. And then you build a hasten Vitalis, and you could build tanky. You could make him like a Gilgamesh type of character, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right now, he just doesn't do that. But I'm still a believer. I think there will be a meta where all of a sudden this Sobek aspect is pickable, and it could even be this one with the enchanters coming through. If everyone's healing, if Sobek himself is being healed, having something that is anti-heal, does damage, and sticks to you could be pretty good. So I'm still a believer, but yeah, it's not quite taken over the map.
I still think you're
in the
insane
way I was hoping.
for thinking that this will ever be good, but only time will tell. Other question we got from the Reddit was Poker Faces LUL. What is your favorite type of bread?
Favorite type of bread?
I got two answers. One is kind of joke answer.
So I don't know if this is a type of bread or a style of cooking the bread. I don't know.
Okay.
I've had it once and it was phenomenal. I believe it is called focaccia.
Oh, that was one of my answers. Yeah, focaccia bread.
There we go. There we go. We got it. Is that a type
good.
of bread?
I think so.
Or is it just?
Either way, just say that's the best bread. Doesn't matter if it's type of way to cook it or whatever. It's that's the best bread.
Yeah, you have to remember, Nickel. I am British. We don't have bread is white or brown.
Right,
we don't go much further than that. But yeah, I have experienced
white or whole grain. Yeah.
But if I've stolen one of yours, Nickel, what's your other answer?
Other answer, and I'll be brave. I'll say it. Gingerbread.
Oh, does that count?
No, it doesn't.
Does that count?
That was the joke answer. That was the joke.
I was going to say that's like Pringles being biscuits, man.
Yeah. No, yeah, I like myself a little white toast. There's a normal white bread. It's always good, but focaccia, I had in my previous workplace, we had because focaccia usually is just like a block. You get like a square, right, of pretty tall bread, and you get the whole thing. It's not something you cut in half or and serve with other stuff on it. It's usually with some spices on, maybe burnt tomato, or not burnt tomatoes, but like sun-dried tomatoes on, or something like this. But what they did in this the workplace, we ordered sandwiches from the sandwich shop, and they cut the focaccia in half, added some roast beef, some pickled onion. It was some pickles. There was mayo. It was like such a good amalgamation of stuff in between two focaccia, like or cut in half of focaccia bread. It was the best sandwich I've ever had. Ever since then, focaccia bread is best bread. But you know what comes close number 2? Garlic bread.
Good one. Yeah. Excellent choice.
And if someone's gonna go out there and say, well, focaccia bread and garlic bread are just two types of way to make normal bread, then fuck you. That's the best breads. I'm sorry.
Other bread should just do better.
They should just do better. All right. Third question, another one from Cedric's, more Smite related. Okay. Have you tried/seen Ishel aspect in Conquest? What is your take on how these kinds of new supports /enchanters will work in Conquest when it comes to roaming, target selection, etc.? Since the game is just designed and balanced around being tanky as a roaming support /teamfight support. So a lot of things there, and let's cut it up. So first, have you tried or seen Ishel aspect in Conquest?
I've not tried or seen Ishel aspect.
Okay, I've seen it. I've seen it do both well and bad. I think it's a little weak right now. I just think that people don't know exactly how to play against it. How do you see these kind of new supports or new enchanters now with the Enchanter Pass going? How will you see them work in Conquest when it comes to roaming, target selection, and etc.?
I think it's going to be very tough. I think good players will make them work no matter what. I think a good player paired with a good player can just sort of take over a lobby with these types of picks. So the balancing on them is going to be very, very fragile. I think we might be at a point where they are not good enough so that good players make them okay and viable in certain circumstances. Because if they are just kind of plug and play, then the numbers have to be too high because it's going to be a different play style, which some people are looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that type of play style. I've enjoyed it. I've already had my best success on support with things like Aphrodite or ESAT aspect in Smite 2. So I do think there will be a world where some of these players can do really well with it, but I think the general audience will struggle and probably should struggle. I know in League of Legends you're almost encouraged to play enchanters when you're new,
Right.
as like don't worry about CC, don't worry about this, just buff your teammates and everything. But for Smite, positioning is so important
Right.
because of things like your field of view, right? Like you can't see behind you, so you can't step forward and just go, oh, if I just see anyone coming, I'll just run away. That's a lot harder to do. So you have to be so not perfect with your positioning, but you have to be so conscious of it at all times. You also have to like not get isolated in a jungle, which the jungle's pretty big, it's pretty windy, and rotating in Smite is one of the most important things, right? I know it exists in other games as well, but for Smite, you can stalemate lanes pretty easily, where just both sides are clearing the wave, right? You can't. It's very hard to freeze waves in Smite.
Yeah.
So having a rotation to actually change that is very important. If you are this enchanter and you bump into like a tank the way things are out, like let's say you are playing Ishal support and you don't do much damage, and you bump into a Xing Chen, you might die before you get anywhere. Or at least take so much damage that you then don't do anything when you get there. So I think it's going to be bad in terms of general performance. I think some people will make them work and make them look really good. I think it will be a good test of how skilled players are. You will learn a lot about yourself by trying to play these gods. If you've been, I've been enjoying support lately, but I really enjoy just like sort of steamrolling carries because they don't do any damage to me. Much different situation if all of a sudden Afro is the best god, right? In a different way to what she has been in the past. So I think players will learn exactly how, or hopefully learn how skilled they really are. Realistically, they'll say this god sucks and never play it again.
Right. Yeah. I'm kind of in your camp. The only thing for me is I think enchanters will be so hard to pilot as the person playing enchanters and there's so many rules that needs to change and how the rest of the team plays that because we've never had this before. We've always had like the closest we've gotten is this like hell or Aphrodite that's linked to you that okay, they are kind of squishy too, so I gotta I gotta stay near them a little bit, but for the most part, they've been able to build tanky. With enchanters, they won't be able to build tanky, so they will be way more squishy. And as the ADC or the rest of the team, if they are around you, you have to be the one to step up. You have to be the one to make sure they get away, because they won't have the escape tools and the damage or the tankiness that even you have as another squishy target. And I think that will just be so hard for the whole community and the whole Smite scene to learn that it's going to take so fucking long before we ever see enchanters viable in casual and ranked conquest, unless it's like these high level games like you're saying.
And a big thing for this is if you are playing an enchanter support, you absolutely cannot have like an ADC in solo. Like, it just will not
you
work.
Need someone else to
imagine.
Engage.
Yeah, imagine you just sat there, you're playing the new Aphrodite, you're sitting in mid lane with your Merlin, and you're both looking at each other like, go in. You can't. It can't be done. I think even in the carry role, the viable gods will have to change. You think someone like Rama in trouble, right? They have no way to engage. Someone like Artemis might love it. It might be a real threat. This very damaging Artemis. You might not even need to be fully damage based, right? Like it might change significantly. But I think the big thing is solo lane will have to be a tank.
Right.
Not even a tank, not necessarily a tank, but something that can engage, something that can start a fight. And
or the jungler. What they have in League of Legends a lot is tank junglers or engage heavy junglers, and this could make Smite pivot to that kind of like Athena jungle, maybe some warriors with some CC as well.
A lot of faith in the player base to react.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't have faith in the player base, which is what kind of scares me. All right. Well, thank you very much for the questions, guys. If you want to leave another question, comment section, Reddit, or Twitch chat. That's going to be it for us today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Judas, for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.